All right, mic check, mic check. Morning Masters podcast. Y'all made, of course. I got a special guest across from Mr. Karlton T. Clay. How you doing?
What's up, man? How
I'm doing great. Been a while, man. You always been a busy man. So when I say you're a busy man these days, it's not a different slogan me saying it to you, but you are a busy man these days. You know. So,
man, listen, I'm just out here, just living life.
Yeah, the retired life is amazing, isn't it? I mean, retired and started working more.
yeah, that's crazy.
Just like the old folks when they retire.
Right. I just to explain the retirement situation. I just want to take a step back from filmmaking in particular, just because one reason I was burnt out, to be honest with you. I've been putting so many years into doing Victory Productions and doing a lot of it by myself for the most part. And literally, like, around the time when I was making the assistant to doing the last season of Bondage, Sweet Mahogany 3, like, I just really was starting to feel like, even a little bit before that, I was starting to feel the burnout. But like, even when I was making those, I was really feeling. I was like, I need to take a step back for a second. And also too, I wanted to do some other things. I wanted to work on my book that I finally got to do. I wanted to work on my comic book series I finally wanted to do. Again, real life happens. I went back to Channel 6, and had to pay them bills, So like I said, it was just other things I had to do, and I had to take a step back from film. Just because, again, you don't ever want to get to a point where, like, you completely hate something that you once loved doing. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like I was getting to that point. Not necessarily with writing, because I've always loved writing, but just the producing aspect of things, the directing, and just all that. Just the production as a whole, it started weighing on me.
Yeah. Do you think it was maybe you were wearing too many hats?
Yeah, 1000%. I think when you first of all, when you get into this business, especially the independent route, a lot of times the reason why a lot of people don't get started is because you're always waiting on that perfect team, that perfect moment, that perfect people to help you. A lot of times you gotta do things by yourself. That's how it always has been with me with my career. It's just like, okay, I have this vision that I want to see happen, and I can't. And of course I reached out to people for help over the years, and we can't wait on people. People have their own lives, their own visions that the other things they want to do as well. So like, if it's your vision, it's sometimes you just have to go at it by yourself. And that's just how it's been for me. I just have been, I've been doing this whole film thing and just producing and making productions and different things like that. Just been doing it on my own. And I think having to write, having to produce, having to direct, having to edit, having to do the camera, the lighting, doing casting, finding locations, different things, all the different aspects of when it comes to putting projects together and doing shows and movies and things like that. Yeah, I wore a lot of hats, and I think it started to definitely wear on me, and just kind of just, all right, bro, you got to take a step back for a second, just kind of just get yourself together. Also too, I had a really bad health scare when we were shooting the very Merry New Year. My blood pressure got up to like 200 and something. 200 something over. It was 200 something over 100 something. And I felt like it was the last. It actually was the last. We had just wrapped for that week. We shot a week. Was it a week? Well, anyway, we shot in Tennessee, but we shot that week during, for a few days or whatever. And I was sitting in the chair. Everybody was chilling, just enjoying the last moments there, and that last night there. And I was just like sitting in the table, and I just felt so much pressure on me. Like, I felt a lot of pressure on my chest, and I felt like, and I was like, am I gonna die? Like, it just felt crazy. Like, it just felt bad. Like, I tried to call, I called my mom. I couldn't really, the way the house was spaced out, they couldn't really hear me, because I was yelling for help, but like, they couldn't really hear me. People were like, there were people that was like sleep, and they couldn't, they was in that deep sleep. They couldn't hear me. So, but people finally came up, and I was rushed to the emergency room. And also, what happened was, it flooded, so the ambulance was parked on the top of the hill. I had to wade the water to get to the ambulance. So
you had to what?
Wade the water. So that basically had to walk you.
Hold on, I'm not being funny. Hold on, that's a real thing.
No, it's wade
I know
the water.
It's a song.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Wade the water.
Explain that to me.
So pretty much,
it's not a guy named Wade.
no, wade in the water. Like you have to really wade the water. So it's like literally the water. So let's say the water is here. So like the water literally was like where my chest is.
But
So they had to like the two people, the two emergency people. They was like on both on my sides, and they was walking me through the water.
But I'm saying wade is a thing, and it's like an action.
Yeah, wade the water.
So what is wade? What is wading?
I can't really. I just know it's you wade in the water. I can't explain. I can't explain.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out. Keep talking.
I'm finished. But
wade.
yeah, I had to wade the water
for
to get to the ambulance.
Wade definition. Just real quick, I have to. I'm sorry. Walk and effort through water. I didn't know. Yo, this is crazy. Clap it up for me. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, so I had to literally, and it definitely took a lot of effort because like it got to a point where I was just told them just to leave me there. Like I was like, because I was tired, so it was a lot. So anyway, that's the health scare that I had, and it got to a point where I had to do it better. I had to realize I had to do a better job taking care of my health, and I was putting so much into the grind. It was like that's honestly like right now where I'm at in my life now. I'm not 100% grinding all my life and like grinding like let's grind it out. Nah, it's got to be some balance and some order to this thing.
You're not as young as you once was either.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'll be 40 in a few months.
I didn't want to cut you off when you said something earlier, but we talked about the retire thing, which we'll come back. We'll bring it back in a second.
Okay.
But you talked about the retire thing. What you didn't mention was it was 20 years of everything you was doing.
Yeah.
So I was there for your 20-year celebration, 20-year celebration.
Right.
So you talking about
you did a great job, by the way.
Oh, I tried. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Clap it for me real quick. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I did host. Yeah.
You did.
But 20 years of anything is a long time. I even to make a decision after 20 years, I would assume that's probably tough because I think about the intervals, 5-year, the 10-year, the 15-year, whether you questioned it, didn't question it, like, so it's always there. So when you, after you say, okay, I'm really retired now, either you are burnt out for real, you tired, or you feel like you've done all you can do at that point, and you just,
And here's the crazy thing: the reason why people don't believe that I was, we're gonna come back to it. But when I made the retirement announcement, I was like, I'm stepping away or whatever. People don't really still believe it because I still had stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Because again, I've done so much that it was all backlog. I still had, like I said, we still had movies coming out. We still had series coming out. We still, we still had different things in the pipeline that's happening. And so when I said, because even like I got a message the other day, it was like, I thought you said you were retiring. You got this whole movie coming out. I said, well, I shot this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just not coming out. So I put a lot of work. I put a lot of work in this business, in this independent business. So yeah, it's just people are just now starting to see. I think because some people are just now discovering my work. Like I said again, when we started doing movies, we started getting on bigger platforms, Tubi, Amazon Prime, different things like that, Roku channel and stuff, Peacock, and those things like that. I think people are just now starting to discover what I've done or what I've been doing. But it's like, I've been, like you said, I've been doing this for 20 plus years. We celebrated, we had 21 years last year. So we're going into the year 22. It'll be 22 years on October 31st.
Yeah.
So,
but I do want to bring it back a minute because just anybody that's watching that don't know who you are, because I feel like we just assumed everybody knew, right?
Right.
This is Karlton T. Clay. You know what I'm saying? A film writer, director. You writer, screenwriter. You name it, you do it. Podcaster, news anchors. Sometimes, you when you wear so many hats, poet, spoken poetry, or word artist, it's like you do so much. It's hard to really comic book writer, author. Like it's just so much stuff you can put your name under your name that you've done. But I know in the past I interviewed you when I first started, like in 2016. I don't know, sounding so old now. Jesus Christ, about 2016, 2017, something like that. And we did it. So it won't be as detailed, I guess, as then, but I do want to kind of just bring back to people that don't know you, just kind of get your story. But so like, what did you start doing first, and what was your love for the arts world first coming to play at? Was it writing, rapping,
not rapping,
singing? The hip hop, pivot.
Yeah. So I've always been a writer. Writing has always been my first love. That's something I've always loved to do. Been doing that since I was a kid. Just creating stories. And what's funny, I don't know if we're gonna talk about this now. I'll talk about this later, but I've always had a love for Power Rangers. And of course, now I'm doing my Power Rangers skits that I do now. But that's kind of pretty much like I've always had a love for Power Rangers, and I just remember as a kid, me and my friends, we would play Power Rangers, and I would take what happened and I would actually write them down like as if it was a story. So I just always enjoy writing. I've always enjoyed creating characters and just creating different stories. And I've always just seen them in my head and I just like put them on the paper. The very first thing that I did, I started out at theater. I started doing plays because like I had cancer when I was 16, had leukemia when I was 16. That's where I got my inspiration to start my company, Victory Productions. And I did my first play. It's called Speak to My Heart. I was 17 years old. Directed that play. I didn't write it. Angela Griffin wrote that play. I directed it. I was 17.
All right. Hold on. Yeah, I just want to make sure we don't miss that part.
Okay.
You kind of just walked over that one. You know what I'm saying? We can't do that. So you say cancer at 16. So let's talk about up leading up to that. So like, what made you? Not what made you, but like, how'd you know you had cancer? Like, what happened? Like,
oh, okay. I didn't know was doing all that. Okay, so
I mean, because people.
No, that's fine.
Your stuff is out there now. It's new.
You're right. You're exactly right.
And it's funny because
I assume. You know what, man? Honestly, people to this day still can't believe when I say it. They're like, "Oh, you had cancer?" Like, because I don't really talk about it. It's not something I just go around and say, "Oh, guess what, guys? I had cancer." You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you ask me, of course, I'll talk about it. But I guess in my mind, I assume that everybody already knew that. And so, anyway, so to tell the story, so I always was an active kid. I was just really tired. I was really tired, like super extremely tired. I just thought I was just doing same thing. Just thought I was doing too much, doing too many activities, different things like that. But I had the flu. This is the month before I actually got my initial diagnosis. I had the flu, and it just wasn't going away. And then I know one day at school, I was falling asleep in class. I don't do that. Like I definitely was that student that paid attention. I was alert, all that stuff. But I was falling asleep in class. I just had no energy. I could barely walk. And I just remember calling my mom. I was like, "Mom, I need you to," I said, "I just don't feel well." So we ended up going to the doctor. The doctor felt my stomach and was it my pancreas? It was something in the internal region, and they were enlarged. And so he was like, we think that he might have leukemia, but we need to confirm it, whatever. So I ended up going to the emergency room. At the time, it was called MCG. Went to the emergency room, did all the testing, Then they came back they confirmed that I had acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Mm-hmm. So that's it's a blood cancer. So yeah, I got diagnosed at 16. It was in March 18th, 2002, to be exact. And 2 months later, I went through chemotherapy, radiation. No, I went to chemotherapy first. 2 months later, I was in remission. So they caught it at a good time, early, and I was a good respondent. So
I'm sorry, you said you was in remission?
Yeah.
So I don't know what that.
So remission means that basically the cancer's gone.
Oh, okay.
So I was in remission. I went in remission for 2 months later. However, because I was on a 3-year track, I had to continue the chemotherapy and radiation. I had to do chemotherapy. I did radiation for 2 weeks, and I did the radiation. I did chemotherapy for. I keep saying radiation. I did chemotherapy for 3 years.
Not that it matters, like what I'm about to say too much. But I think in the past when you told this story to me and you speak on it, I guess I envisioned it being like a long period of time. Right. Granted, I don't write cancer for a day. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care about the. But I do. I think I imagine it because I think we were going so detailed into like your thoughts and what you was feeling and why you did certain things, but. Because if I'm not mistaken, isn't this how you kind of met Will Smith? I know I'm jumping the gun, but
yeah, no, no, that's fine. It's all that's in it. All that is in that story. So yeah, I did Make-A-Wish. The Make-A-Wish Fund, basically for kids with terminal, what that could be considered terminal diseases, or just with major illnesses. You do a thing called the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Pretty much they make a kid's wish come true. You get one wish or whatever. So my wish was to meet Will Smith. And so,
why him? I'm sorry, I'm just asking. No, nothing wrong. Nothing wrong.
No, it's not. Will Smith, like, is one of my favorite actors. Like to me, like I just was enamored by who he was as an artist, as an entertainer. I know a lot of people clown his music, but his music.
I'm a lot of people, yes.
Yeah, I know. haters
I
over
like
there.
I like getting jiggy with it. I did. In summertime, I love.
Summertime's the
parents don't
hit.
understand. I like a few of them. I like a few of them now.
Obviously, yeah.
I like a few of them.
But yeah, I'm just a big Will Smith fan. So I just really wanted to meet him. And at the time, Bad Boys 2 was coming out, and so we went to. They flew me and my whole entire family. Well, my mom, my dad, and my siblings. They flew us out to Miami, and we had a private lunch with Will Smith. And
just y'all?
Yeah, it was just us,
bro. Just y'all.
Yeah,
not a bunch of families that.
No,
y'all.
It was just us. Like, wow. So the crazy thing is, the one time I was supposed to meet him, they had us with 2 other families, but I had gotten sick. And my doctor had said I couldn't go, so they had to reschedule my trip. So I ended up, like I said, my trip became separate. So I ended up going to Miami. We ended up going to Miami, and we was the only family.
That was up.
Yeah, we had a private lunch. We went to a hotel. Can't think of the name of the hotel, but we had a private lunch. I think we had, what was it? Turkey sandwich? It was something. It was a fancy turkey sandwich, I think. But I think it was a turkey sandwich. But yeah, so he came. It was cool. It was a cool vibe. Like at first, it was kind of like a shell shock. Like dang, like Will Smith was actually like sitting next to me. But it kind of got like he just became a regular person. But then, and I didn't want the moment to end because honestly, I met him in the middle of the trip. So like the next 2 days, I was just like, we can go home. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So we already did what I came to do. What was funny was I gave him a script.
I about to say, you mean
I gave him a script. I'm sure it wasn't. He threw it in the trash.
Respectfully,
it's all good.
Respectfully,
it's all good. Actually, I wrote like a Fresh Prince reunion script.
Yeah, that wasn't it, bro. I already know. Cause I know, and at that age, thinking,
bro, you're right. And I read it recently. I was like, ooh.
Horrible.
Yikes. But no, man, I was 17. I was 17, about to turn 18. And yeah, I gave him the script and he signed a lot of things for me. Of course, I got the pictures and everything. We took pictures with me and my whole family. It was great. Then that night, he actually, we went up seeing, they did had a Bad Boys 2 premiere. So me, Kendra, and my parents, we went. And they got a babysitter for my younger siblings. So we went to the Bad Boys 2. So I saw Bad Boys 2 before everybody else saw it.
I don't want to move on too quickly, but for the Make-A-Wish thing, like, so at that point, did you ever feel like you were gonna pass, like you were gonna die? I'm just be blunt.
Yeah. There were a couple times.
I'm sorry. I've seen like skits and stuff. I don't know. I ain't been sick, so I don't know. But like, you see things where like a kid is like pretty much on their deathbed. You know, they don't call it that, but and they finally get to meet their first favorite person. So when you finally got a chance to meet him, was you ever thinking like, damn, I'm about to die then if I'm meeting him?
No, the points, because by that time I was like, again, I was already in remission. I was just like on the last round of the chemotherapy, so I was fine. Like, because again, I was going to my senior year, so my junior year was the hard part. Like that was I missed like 1/3 of school because I was sick majority of the time. Because again, the chemotherapy wipes everything out of your body.
Like, what do you mean?
Like I'm talking about like wipes every single, like your bad cells and good cells.
Gotcha.
So like just my health was it was just low. It was a low point. So the points I thought I was gonna pass, it was like maybe like 2 or 3 times. Again, because again, I was tired. I was weak. I weighed like 110, 115. I think somewhere around that time. It was just certain points I just felt like, all right, because I was getting, like I said, when the medicine weighs on you, you just get real tired. You just get tired, and it's just like, I'm tired of this.
But I know you mentioned like around that time you started to do like the screenplays or stage plays rather, theater. So like, how did like that have you tap into a certain lane creative wise?
So like I said, when I first got diagnosed, I asked my parents to I had a laptop. I asked them to bring me a laptop.
In 2002? In 2002, you had a laptop?
It's an old little.
No, that's all good. Interesting.
Old little laptop.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it wasn't no MacBook.
It was a laptop.
But it was a laptop though. Yeah. It got the job done. But no, I asked them to bring me a laptop. Like I said, I would write. My aunt, she got me a pad so I could keep a journal of how I was feeling. different things I was dealing with. Because again, you have to remember, like, again, I'm still a teenager at the end of the day, so I'm still dealing with teenage stuff too, along with having cancer.
What that mean?
Don't play with me, because you know my mom gonna watch this, so don't play with me.
First thing popped in my head, One Tree Hill. Like, cause you that guy, you're a One Tree Hill guy. So I'm thinking like, the high school stuff, the drama at school, just the, this person don't like me, this person don't like me, stuff.
Okay, so
crush,
different relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got for you.
I like that. I'll write that down. Different relationships. 2030 now, different relationships.
Different relationships. We're just gonna keep it at that. So yeah, I was dealing with regular teenage stuff as well, as long with the cancer. But yeah, to answer back your question with the creativity. Yeah, I was still writing. I was just kind of that helped me keep my mind off of what was really going on. That again, even with the Will Smith stuff, that was the latter part of the chemotherapy. So I was actually starting to feel better more about myself. I was able to go to school my senior year, so I was actually able to enjoy school and different things like that.
What was that like? Like, I'm just curious because I'm pretty sure people knew from school what was going on. So you come back, and this is not today. Not saying this today. It's like oh, nobody cares. It's still triumphant, but it's even more triumphant in 2002 back in the day because you had chemo or cancer. People are dying.
Right.
So
I mean, I thank God that the medicine was a lot better then than it was like even like in the like the 90s and earlier than that. It's obviously a lot better now, more advanced now, but like even then, like it still was a miracle that I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? So
how you got treated in school then? Like, was you the man now?
No. I you know what, to be honest with you, man, a lot of it is still kind of foggy. I don't remember. I wasn't treated like I was like that guy. You know what I'm saying? And I've never been that guy. I've always been. I was the person that everybody got along with, but I've never been like the most like popular dude at school. I felt like everybody I just got along with everybody for the most part. So how everybody treated me, I don't know. Honestly, man. And I'm planning on doing this. I think I've told a few people this. I'm actually planning on doing a documentary about my cancer journey. And I want to get people that I went to school with to be a part of it because I don't know how they felt. I was talking to one of my friends, Joy. I interviewed her for my, I do a VPN chat that's on my podcast page. And I asked her, I said, well, how was it for you when you heard, because from what I understand, they made an announcement at school. They did a whole thing. There was like, Karlton, has cancer or something. I don't know how the announcement went. But she said like it was quiet. It got like real quiet. Cause like somebody that their age, like they actually knew. Cause of course you hear it, but like to actually know somebody that's dealing with it is a whole different thing. So yeah, I don't really know how, like coming back, I felt like I missed a lot. Because again, I missed a lot of my junior year, and then also too, I literally was doing my junior year and my senior year at the same time as far as work. Because there was one point they was trying to keep me back, like they wanted me to graduate a year later, and I was like, nah, we're not doing that. I was like, I'm not graduating in 2005. That's not happening.
You mentioned feel like you missed a lot, in high school, middle school. People don't realize how much one day you can miss a lot in one day.
Right.
You ever miss one day at school and be like, man, stuff happened. Like, whoa, what?
Right.
Why I wait till I don't come to school for this to happen?
Right.
Imagine missing a week, what I'm saying, or two at a time.
Yeah, so. I missed a third. I missed a third of my junior year. It was one period I wouldn't go to school for 2 months because it was a bad flu going around too. But again,
and my immune system get sick. Yeah.
Yeah, and my immune system was low, so like compromised, so I couldn't be around that. So I missed a lot. I missed a lot of school on my junior year. So I think I came back full time like around about March or April, my junior year. And then my senior year, I was pretty much there every day, except like it would be like once a month, I would have to go to the clinic at MCG to get my chemotherapy. So I was doing chemotherapy to my freshman year of college. So I went to Georgia State, and I would come home once a month to do chemotherapy. So I was done with chemo, like I said, after my freshman year of college.
I want to get more into the theater. So like talk about like your first ever play?
Okay, so
Where was it at? Where was this at? Your first play?
So the first play that I did, okay, we're gonna say the first professional play that I did that I directed and produced was called "Speak to My Heart." It was written by Angela Griffin. I was in the play before. I was when we did it at our former church at Greater Young Zion, and I wanted to do the play because this was something I was like, okay, I really want to get into this, and so I decided to
Hey, what's up? Yeah, they closed today. Yeah, I'm sorry. I might keep that in there. That was different. But you gotta go ahead. All right. It's Saturday. It's 4:48 p.m. on a Saturday. She walks in here. You don't get your ass.
Okay. I did the play. I did Speak to My Heart. I did it when I was younger. We did it at our former church, Greater Young Zion. And I wanted to do it again because I was like, I really wanted to get involved in theater, but I was like, I don't really know exactly. I wasn't confident enough to do something that I wrote.
Why not? How, at this time, how long you been writing at this time?
No, but like I said, again, I had just been writing since childhood, but like it's to actually like come out and say I'm doing theater on my own as a producer, director. I wasn't confident at 17 saying that I was ready to do my very first play.
Before I ask you why on that question, 'cause I'm still gonna ask you. Tell them what school you went to.
I went to Davidson Fine Arts School.
Clap it up for you real quick. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not hard to get that school. Clap it up for you real quick. Hold on, we gotta clap it up. All right, right there. Okay, so you went to Davidson.
I did.
What made you go to Davidson?
My parents.
Oh, here you go.
No, seriously,
no.
Seriously, it was seriously my parents. I went to Karlton Elementary School. Well, I went to Jamestown Kindergarten. I went to Karlton majority elementary. So first through fifth grade, I was at Karlton. Sixth grade, I went to Glen Hills Middle School. I wanted to stay at Glen Hills, and then we ended up moving. And it was like, no, well, if you don't go to Davidson, you have to go to Morgan Road. I was like, oh, no, I ain't going to Morgan Road. I ain't doing that. I didn't want to go to Morgan Road.
Move on Morgan Road.
I didn't want to go to Morgan Road.
So you went to Davidson not because your parents, because you didn't go to Morgan Road.
That's another reason too. No, but my parents was like really pushing me to go to Davidson.
But I guess I'm just trying to figure out like what you were doing. Was you a good dancer? Or you was like
no, I mean, a lot of the people that I went to church with went to Davidson, and like I was taking piano lessons at the time from Nicholas Blunt's mom, Miss Blunt. She was teaching a lot of us how to play the piano, and so I think she mentioned Davidson or something. I auditioned for Davidson 3 times actually, by the way.
But your parents made you go.
Yeah, my parents. It was not like they made me like, "Karlton, you gotta go," but it was just like they was pushing me. They wanted me to go to Davidson.
But you auditioned 3 times.
I auditioned 3 times,
This is new information.
I auditioned 3 times. The first 2 times I did not get in.
Why do you think you didn't?
I don't know.
You remember it's foggy? You don't remember? Like
no, I don't know why I didn't get in. You got to ask the people at Davidson Fine Arts why I didn't get in the first 2 times. I have no idea. But all like I said, I was cool with my people at Glen Hills Middle School. I was ready because this is what happened, bro. Like, honestly, when I left college, because I was supposed to go to Tubman, I had already left those group of people to go to Glen Hills. So then I'm leaving. I got this group of people that are my friends at Glen Hills. Now I'm leaving this group of people to go to another school.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
But either way, I mean, I would have to. It has been Morgan Road or it would have been Davidson. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna go to Davidson.
You said you had the audition.
Yeah.
Right? So describe me what that's like. I never seen one. I heard of auditions. So what you got to do? Like, how does it work?
So there are different arts disciplines at Davidson. You have like actual art, like drawing, painting stuff. You got singing, like music, like instruments, and then you have drama and you have dance. So you at the audition, you do every single one of them.
Even real quick now, even if I'm going there because I know I just want to be a drama actor,
right?
I gotta dance.
I don't know how it is now, but when I auditioned those 3 times, I do all of them. And you don't have to do the instrument part. Now, if you don't play an instrument, you don't have to do that. Okay. But the rest of it, you have to do it.
But what kind of dance they said to do? Like, what kind of dance you had to do?
It was some type of liturgical something. Just you got to give you a cloth. You got to move it around, and you got to just be creative. Just let the music, feel the music.
Like at TikTok when they doing this, like that.
I guess, but it's been 20 plus years, bro. I don't even remember. I just know I had to do all of it, and I know with the art because I can't draw worth anything. You had to draw this plant. They put a plant, and you have to draw it.
Is everything right there on the spot? Like, it's just you? Or is it like a group of people?
It's a group of people.
In a room?
Yeah.
Y'all all just dancing.
And with the dance part, I think it was like 3 or 4 of us, and we just got the cloth and we just moving. So
y'all don't know each other.
No, I mean some people do know because I guess you got some people like my third time auditioning. My third time auditioning. That's why I say I auditioned 3 times. My third time auditioning, I knew the people that I was like. Some people went with, like we all went together. So sometimes you know the people, sometimes you don't. It just depends. So
the first time, did you try to fail on purpose so you had to go to school?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Were you discouraged because you didn't make it?
The first time I was very discouraged. I was like, dang, because I was like, honestly, not trying to be braggadocious or anything. Like, I was like the smartest kid in school, in elementary school. I was literally like,
I believe it.
I had the highest average every year in every single subject. So when I didn't get in, because I auditioned, because at the time Davidson had 5th grade. So I auditioned in 4th grade to go to the 5th grade. I did not get in. And so I was very discouraged by that. And then I auditioned again for 5th grade to go to the 6th grade, and I didn't get in. So that's how I ended up going to Glen Hills Middle School. Which again, I enjoy going to Glen. I love Glen Hills. I love being there. I mean, it was fairly new because I think that was the second year had just opened. I wasn't a part of the first year it was open. I think I was part of the second year that Glen Hills Middle School was open. So I loved being there. I enjoyed my friends, and again, I was really sad that I was like. It was like I said. It was either or. Is if you're going to Morgan Road or you're going to Davidson. I got it, and I got in
but
to go to Davidson.
At this time, because I'm looking at what you've done in your career and what you're still doing and stuff like that. But at this time, even so far as you're speaking, even up until 16, 17, you're not fully engulfed in being a writer or being a director. So like I guess I'm trying to think when did that, because the stuff you've done and I've seen you work and how you do things. When did it start becoming more of like, I'm gonna take this serious? This is my thing. This is what I'm known for. Right. This is what they're gonna know Karlton Clay for.
That's a very great question.
I try every now and then, bro. Every now and then I try.
No, so I when I was at Davidson, this is actually by accident. I was in the audio video production. I was taking those classes. And again, it's by accident because I put the beginner's class as an alternate. And cause I just need to fill you have to fill the time on like when you register for classes for next year, you have to fill the time. And so I had that alternate. So I put audio video production as alternate. I ended up getting the class. It was straight. I was like, okay, this is all right. And then I put intermediate down as alternate. I ended up getting that class. That's okay. Maybe I'm supposed to be here. When I started learning how to edit and like how to really put stuff together, I was like, oh, okay, this is something like I think might lead to something. Again, I've always wanted to write. I just didn't know, like, how could I make that into a career? But I've always wanted to write. Like, I've always wanted to write. I always wanted to be an author. And I've always wanted to write for television. Because I would watch TV shows. I would pay attention to the credits and different things like that. When I was young, I would always pay attention to stuff like that. So I just didn't know what steps to take to make being a writer a career. And so when I did the play, like I said, again, I just wasn't confident in myself yet as a writer to say I want to put my first stage play. I didn't want that to be my first thing that I wrote. I just wasn't confident in my writing yet. And so Ms. Griffin was gracious enough to allow me to use her play to do that. We had a packed house. We did it at my church, my dad's church, New Creation, and we had a packed house. We actually had to extend it so people could have room to be in there. And then the very first play that I actually wrote was natural. I felt like it was natural progression, was to write a story about my cancer journey as a teenager. So I wrote a play called Leukemia and Me, and that was the second play I directed and produced, but it was the first play that we produced that I wrote. So, and then from then I was doing theater. Again, I went to Georgia State, and we had a college station, and I wanted to produce content. I was like, okay, how can I? Because it was nothing on the station. It was like nothing. I don't know. I don't even remember what was on there, but I was just like, I want to produce scripted content, and so I was doing some short films. well, quote unquote short films that I was doing. And I had a series idea. It was called College Days, and I wanted to put that on our college station. And I did like a little pilot. I gave it to him, and he said he was gonna check it out. Put it on DVD, had a whole presentation and everything. Put it on DVD, gave it to him, and he never. I never heard from him. Like he never. And I literally worked. I worked at the newspaper at the time, and our office is right across the hall. Was across the hall from the campus station, and I would see him all the time. And I would ask him like, "Did you check it out?" He said, "I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it." And he just never got to it.
Did he ever give you a DVD back?
Nope, never got DVD back.
Wow.
So, and shout out to my boy Lamont Johnson. I went to Davidson with him, and I hit him up and I told him what I wanted to do, and he suggested, he's like, "Hey, I can create you a website, and you can upload your videos on there, and people can go to the website, they can watch it." So that's what I did. I got a group of my friends, my college friends. None of them was trying to be actors. I told them what I wanted to do, and they loved me enough, and they believed in what I was doing, that they took the time out of their schedules to help me. They was a part of my very first series. It's called College Days. And it's funny, again, even when I go back and look at it now, I'm like, because I was like getting people, like, you know, I asked people to send me their schedules, like their class schedules. I was like, "Hey, you got time during this time? Let's do it here." Like, I was just in between people breaks. I was like, "Let's do it. Let's shoot a scene real quick." It was just amazing. Now that I'm thinking about it, how, again, these people, they're not trying to be actors, but they just really took their time out to really help me bring this together. And I did the show for 2 seasons up at Georgia State. So 2 years. Up there. I did it my junior year and my senior year in college. And we did 16 episodes. So.
This is on a tangent I'm asking you. I'm gonna kind of mix it up. I'm gonna ask you questions, but also interview stuff too. Like,
yeah.
But I see that a lot now. So you mentioned like doing shows back then. This was like 05, 06?
This was 06. I did first series 06.
And I watched, I think maybe 50 Cent might have said it. And I think we talked about this before, where it's like, even now, it's almost like it's kind of better, or I guess more lucrative, to do a show versus a movie now. I don't know. That's what I'm hearing. I guess because you got more range to change things or see what the audience likes, see you want to take it, even creatively to change things, versus a movie. It's like, it's kind of there,
okay.
What's your thoughts on that? Because you're a writer. So
yeah. I know from what I've been told in the independent space that the movies make more money than the shows. Even just when it comes to Tubi, because I've been like, again, I'm a series guy. I'm a show guy. I like creating series. And so like when I was talking to a distributor at the time, I was like, "Hey, I want to create this show. They was like, "Well, shows don't necessarily bring in the revenue, but the movies do. So you may want to consider doing films." That's how I got started with films. So,
okay.
Yeah. So
a lot of your films are just shows kind of, at first, it was shows put together.
Yeah. So Sweet Mahogany was the first show to be turned into a film. So basically what ended up happening with that was I entered Sweet Mahogany into the Miami Web Fest. Maverick Entertainment was there, and they, from what I was told, they were specifically there to offer me a deal already. That's what I was told. And so we ended up winning the prize, to a distribution deal prize at the festival. And we pretty much took we had 2 seasons of Sweet Mahogany already out. So we took season 1, meshed them together, and made the first movie. And then we took the second season, meshed those episodes together, and made the sequel. So that's how I just transitioned.
I was around during this time. I wanted to ask you, was that your first deal? And if so, what year was that? How long had you been doing VPN up until this time?
So that's my first deal, distribution deal ever.
Okay. Cop it up for you real quick.
Yeah.
Still foreign to me, but I like that.
Yeah. That was my first distribution deal ever. When did it take place?
2017. 2018.
When did
2019?
Because Sweet Mahogany came out in 2019, like the actual series.
The show. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
And the movie, I think the first movie came out in 2020. Yeah, because we was in a pandemic, And I remember saying that my pandemic years was lit. So, I remember that because I was saying everybody was talking about how much they were struggling. I was like, I don't know about y'all, but my year kind of lit.
I'm getting movie deals. But
oh, that sounds so ignorant.
No, like you said earlier, not being braggadocious, but you started bragging. But look, I'm asking because you started in 2000
So I started Victory Productions itself in 2003.
And you got your first distribution deal in
2020.
2020.
Yes. 17 years later.
I remember being, because what people don't know, because we kind of going around, but most people do know. I mean, you had a podcast for a while,
right?
For years, and Fire and Ice. And I remember we can't record one day, but you was on a phone.
Yeah. And
you was on a phone with Maverick.
Yep.
And y'all were trying to figure out these numbers.
Yeah.
I remember you kept like, you a funny guy, like, cause you don't want your business out there. So you talking, but you're not talking. You know what I'm saying? Like you saying things, but you're not saying things. Like what about the other thing? I'm like, Karlton, just say the number. Like, just say whatever it is, right? But I like that. I just remember y'all talking, and I'm like, okay, things are moving for him. I knew things were moving for you at that point because you was taking like a lot of calls, a lot of business deals. You had to fix stuff. You had to change things. It's a lot of headache we had behind it too. Like it wasn't like you would just get a deal and like, okay, here's the money and shake your hand, bye.
Nah, yeah.
It was like, hey, can you make this I think you made an Easter movie or something like
that. So what you're talking about is, so what happened was we was getting ready to record Fire and Ice, and I had already submitted a film to them to be produced. And it was called what was called Terry? Was it Terry for Love? Terry, something. It was something. No. It was called. I think it was called something. I don't know. It was called something, and then they was like, "Hey, what would you think about turning this into a Christmas movie?"
Right. Yes, that one.
And so then we changed it to Reindeer Games. That's the movie's Reindeer Games. But originally, I think it was called Terry for Love or something like that. It was called Terry for Love because I had to explain to them what Terry in the church. Terry means to wait, and so I was going to name the lead character Terry. And so again, they was like, well, yeah, because that's what they was getting ready to. They haven't ventured into holiday movies yet.
Yeah.
So I was one of the first producers to start Maverick's holiday movie chain.
But see, what I like about like even you talk like this is what I like talking about because we learn so much in between your story. Your story is your story. So this is your first time getting your deals and all that stuff, and that's good for you to talk about and everything there. But on the flip side of it, it's a business to this stuff too.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, we know you're creative. That's cute. I like it. Listen, make that a Christmas because I'm thinking about fourth quarter right now.
Right. Yeah. And also too, they were saying how with holiday movies, it's always recurring. Mm-hmm. So like even to this day, like I said, that movie came out in 2020, and to this day, it's like okay, so for instance, 2025. All right, let's crank that out. Let's crank Reindeer Games back up. Let's start promotion about that again. So it's definitely a business.
It's funny you say that because I was talking about the shows versus movies, and whether they're lucrative or not. But I think about a holiday movie versus a movie because a holiday movie is like every holiday that movie is hot again. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, you might not hear about Reindeer Games in April or May, but damn it, November, December.
Oh yeah, when November hit,
November
hit is Reindeer Games. It's for the love of Christmas. It's for the love of Christmas too. It's a very Merry New Year. It's Kwanzaa movie. Mm-hmm. So it's like, like I said, Easter just passed. It was the Easter movie, so it's just like the holiday movie's always gonna hit.
What did you learn from like your ventures with doing deals like that? What have you learned about writing, I guess, whether it be holiday or just a drama or, comedy? Like what have you learned about what you like writing and what you think is more lucrative?
So one thing I had to learn as far as writing, because you could get so caught up in what's going to get the most views, the most clicks, what's going to make you most popular on Tubi. Because a lot of times you get so caught up in writing for the audience. You get so caught up in writing for, okay, I want to make sure that this movie hits versus writing for your creativity or writing for, again, just staying true to who you are as a creative. So it's kind of a double-edged sword because, of course, you want your movie to do good regardless. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you want to stay true to who you are as a creative. So for me, I just learned, my biggest lesson has been how to stay true to who I am, but also to not allowing, this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but not allowing what I write to define who I am as a person. Because of course, some of our content is, for mature audiences. But that doesn't take away from who I am as a Christian. It doesn't take away from who I am as a son, as an uncle, or just who I am as all the other hats that I wear. So I've tried to not necessarily separate myself, but just kind of just, all right, this is just a part of just your creative hat. It's just sticking with what the characters are.
Well, you brought that up, so I want to pivot a little bit, going backwards and coming back this way. You didn't always write that way though.
No.
In the beginning, you wrote. I'm gonna use the word safe.
Okay.
That's my word. It might not go with what you're saying, but I say safe because it was kind of what people know you to be.
Right.
I'm in the church. My dad does this.
Yeah.
My mom does this. I'm their son. Here you go. Hallelujah. Right.
Right.
Type of thing. And then at some point, you must have changed your mind. I don't know what happened.
So this is gonna be honest with you, man. Like you get to a point in your life where you come into who you are as an individual. I couldn't just be Kenneth's son or Sonya's son, or I'm Karlton and I'm a whole adult, and I've dealt with adult things, and I have adult experiences, and I have adult friends who have dealt with adult, so I wanted to be true to who I am in that essence, but also again stay true to who I am again as a saved person, as a Christian, and all the other stuff. So again, that doesn't take away from my relationship with Christ, but I thought it was important for me to be real about what's happening in the world and in our community, in our culture and different things like that. So how the shift happened for me, it was honestly, I'll be honest with you, I was scared about it because again, I was more so scared about what people would say about my parents. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want people to think that my parents raised wayward children. So I was more so concerned about them versus me.
Is that another Bible word?
Wayward?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
That's the third one. You on three now, right? You said Wade, you said Terry. These I've never. I might be a bad kid because I don't know. Write these down. You said Wade, Terry, and Wayward.
Wayward, yeah. But no, I just didn't want people to look at my parents any type of way, because I love my parents. I respect them. I revere them, and so like I just didn't want people to say nothing crazy about my parents because I'm gonna go off. But also too, again, I just wanted to make sure I had their support as well.
Did you ask them? Like, was that like something?
No, I didn't know necessarily ask. It was just something where I just decided I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna test the waters. We tested it out with Karma a little bit. My show Karma. We tested it just a little bit.
How? Like what?
So
what
actually, there was an intimate scene, but the clothes was like you didn't see anything. It was more so implied.
Okay.
I mean, the actions was happening, but the shots were.
Why'd you do that? What was
I didn't want people to, I didn't want people to be confused. But the shot was like close-up shots. You know what I'm saying? It was no nudity involved. And so I tested it out with that, and then we did Lover's Lane. And my guy Nelson, he was like, "Hey, what do you think about adding some partial nudity to the show?" Because that was a lane that he was wanting to step in as well. I was like, I feel like this is what the show is. The show is a salacious show. At the time, of course, you had shows coming out on Stars and all these, HBO and things like that. I was like, sure, let's just. I wanted to, because I wanted to do it, but I was again, because of how I was brought up in the church at the time, and I was so concerned about how these church people would view me and my family. Then I was nervous about doing it, but then at the same time, I was like, I have to be true to who I am as a creative as well. Yeah. And this is something I want to do. I mean, if it falls flat, it falls flat. But I want to try it. So I did. I was like, and then honestly, once once my parents watched it and they ain't say nothing to me, I was like, oh.
It's up.
Oh. not saying that they was like, oh yeah, go with it. But at the same time, I'm an adult.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, I remember one time somebody we used to go to church with sent me a message. It was trying to just fire and brimstone me. And I was like, I said, y'all watch way more stuff that's on TV now. And I know y'all watching it because y'all posting it about it. But let me do this one. No, I think I had somebody say a cuss word for the very first time, I think, or something. And it's, oh, Karlton, oh my gosh. I'm like, bro, you watch this Cinemax series. And I'm just like, you talking about something I did? That's diabolical. So I was like I said, once honestly, once my parents was like, you know, was like chill with what I was doing, I stopped caring about what everybody else was saying.
I think it's important to because you're in a different space now.
Yeah.
In 2025, of course.
Right.
But I think it's important for me at least, to illustrate that when I met you in 2016 and we linked up in 2017, 2018 to start podcasting. We were podcasting weekly and week out. Also the time where you kind of had to find your way as far as like ignoring certain criticism as well.
Yes.
Because you were very sensitive to your art.
Yeah.
Whereas you took, I would say, I'm not gonna say constructive criticism because sometimes it was just stuff that wasn't needed to be said.
Yeah.
But you would take it so personal that your clapback would just make you look like a bad person because you would just respond a lot of times. It was never you starting. Sometimes it was just you responding. And
I've never started.
We normally don't.
I've never started.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying, I most of the times when I am quote unquote going off is because it's in response to something that has happened. I've never started anything, and if I'm wrong, then you know I'm just wrong. But I have no comeback for that. But no, to my recollection, I've never started anything.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I'm in the same boat. I don't feel like I be starting out just mind my business.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing. I feel like I'm minding my business for the most part. I feel like, again, people, for some reason, people just choose to want to have an issue with me. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. I mean, that's just something that you have to deal with. It's between you, God, and your therapist. So like I said, I don't know. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I mean, I was super because like you said, you hit the nail on the head. I'm very sensitive about my work. I put a lot of time into what I've done. Also, the people that are involved, I'm protective of them. You know, that they put a lot of their time, their blood, sweat, and tears. It's not easy being an actor. A lot of people think it's just, let me just memorize these lines and let me get in front of the camera. No, it's more than that. It's about becoming this person that this writer has put on the page. You literally have to embody who this person is and make it realistic so that people can take something away from it. If people aren't taking something away from what you're doing, then I mean, that's the whole point of it all. Is that people, and even with, I've had people message me, even with the most mature rated stuff. They watch and say, I got something. I understood that person. I understood that character. I see myself in that character. I need to change how I deal with X, Y, and Z. And that's just my whole point in everything that I do. I want people to see some type of message from it. Yeah, okay, yeah, you get the salaciousness of it all. A lot of times that's how you draw people in for the most part. It's like people whether they want to admit it or not, a lot of people like that stuff. Now
sells.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna put on the front on the book of faces, but for the most part, y'all in your closets and you're in the dark watching this stuff. So as long as people get a message from what I do, then I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I have zero regrets about any of the work that I put out.
In regards to writing, 'cause I know you said it earlier, you was like how, you know, you had to but you kind of was just making sure like what you wrote was how much you wanted to write and had to be you. But have you ever written or have written a show, written a character where you feel like you inspired that character? Like it's a character you wrote about, you inspired, or vice versa. Somebody it inspired a character that you wrote about.
That's what All the Brotherhood is about. My series Brotherhood. That's why it's my favorite show that I put together, because I put myself in so many of those characters. I put people that I know into those characters because I thought it was important that we never had a show to where you see a group of guys that are authentically transparent with their emotions when things happen to them. Never, you ain't seen it. You ain't seen it mainstream. You didn't see it really in independent. Brotherhood was like probably one of the gems on the independent space.
And you said you saw yourself in each.
I wouldn't necessarily say each, but like it was a piece of me in a few of the characters.
Which one wasn't? I got questions now. You know I watch the show.
I know.
You know, I'm gonna ask you this: the guy who spit on his son.
Okay.
Was that part of you at all?
No.
Okay.
No. That's just being.
What about the guy who got spit on?
That's just being soap opera ridiculous.
What about the guy who got spit on?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
No.
Just curious, yeah. I thought I'd be seeing him sometimes. I was, yo, you got spit on, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. No.
Did you know that scene was gonna like hit the way it hit? Like,
no, I didn't. That scene to this day is still one of the most talked about scenes that we had.
How many times did I shoot that scene?
So here's the thing. Because I only got one camera. So we shot it a few times. We shot it a few times. And again, I said, here, let's do water. And we're gonna we're gonna do,
Yeah.
cut, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes people are method actors and they gotta feel it.
That's crazy, bro.
So,
that's insane.
You gotta get Reggie and Brandon in here you gotta ask them that, or get them on the Zoom and ask them. I just remember just being in shock when it happened, but I was just saying, thank God I pressed record.
Yeah.
Cause
rough.
Yeah, it was wild. So I don't know. But we shot that a few times.
Today, send that to me today. I need to put that clip out with that. I need that. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Okay, but so
I got you. But to answer your question, I think I want to say, let's just say a character was like specifically like, oh, that's Karlton. But I just think certain things or there's certain emotions that each character felt. Like even with Brandon's character, certain things that he felt, some of that is me. Not Reggie's character, none of that.
Gotcha.
That's just
the drugs.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm just throwing these questions out
I know.
there. I told you.
I know. I want to make
that off limits. I wanted to make sure it was
you're
different.
right, and I want to make that very clear. Drug free, 1,000%. No.
Clap it up, you being drug free, man. Hold on, clap it up.
Yeah, because no. Hey, listen, that's your thing. But no, not over here. No.
Right over there.
Not over here.
All right, no drugs.
No.
No drugs. Well, what is your drug? Obviously, it's not painkillers and things of that nature. So, what is Karlton's drug of choice? That's not actually a drug, of course. This.
I don't. Okay, yeah, okay. I know this is gonna be like they're gonna be like, oh, that was an easy answer, but I'm gonna actually say food. Food is something that I have to be conscious about, especially now as I'm getting older. I have to be conscious about what I'm putting into my body. Now, I'm not saying I'm cutting out things. I'm not like saying I'm never eating meat again.
Yeah, you're not going vegan?
No, that's not part of my life. That's not part of my ministry. I'm never gonna say I'm never gonna eat sweets again. But am I limiting how much sweets do I eat? Absolutely. But as far as like saying I'm cutting out, like saying I'm never gonna eat this, it's not realistic. And I feel like when I've done that before, like when the craving hit, just I went overboard with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's more about just balancing out things. But yeah, if I had to say like a drug, something that's like considered, I wouldn't even want to say an addiction because you need food to survive. But I think sometimes I can just, I want to be careful that I don't go overboard with my love of food.
Yeah.
Because I love food. So I know that was an easy answer, but.
Nah, your drugs are drugs, bro. Some people do
I don't like how
cocaine.
you just saying drug. Like, because people going to cut this out. Like, oh, you know how people use AI clips and all this other stuff. I don't.
Karlton's on drugs.
See, no. Again, I'm not.
When the last time you got high from your drugs? Today?
I mean, I had to eat. Today? Gotta survive.
Got you.
Gotta survive.
Clip that up real quick now. But I was gonna ask, like, when you look at your run from, I'm gonna say like 2015 to 2020, I feel like you was so. Sometimes I think you get so enamored with working and with it becomes like easy to do. Like, not easy in the sense like, oh, I got this down packed, but like how I look at it, you might look at it. You might look like it's like I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do that. Because you were going to Charlotte, you were coming back home, you were going back to Charlotte, you were shooting magazines and shooting pictures, and you were doing so much stuff, but you had everything like coordinated to where, like, I'm not saying you couldn't, but if tomorrow I gave you your schedule from 2018, you probably like, whoa, this is too much, bro. Like, what you got going on? You condition yourself, right?
Yeah.
So talk about that conditioning for that type of work you were doing. And then give me a day in the life of like how you were, because you were doing from like 6 in the morning, you would drive, and then you come back in a week.
Yeah.
And shot a whole show.
Even looking at it now, I don't see how I did all that. I had a comment. I was just talking to one of my friends. I was like, I don't see how I did all that. That was a lot. So yes. So Lover's Lane was the first show that I shot outside of Augusta. Well, yeah. Cause I mean, technically, cause like I said, college days I shot it when I was in Atlanta in school, but
you were traveling back and forth to shoot the show. You were traveling to shoot the show. Like, people, it wasn't just you. People was leaving from where they from.
Yeah. So like I said, so Lover's Lane was the first. Lover's Lane was the first show I shot out of Georgia. Like my first, like literally, like I said, traveling. I lived in Augusta. Was actually traveling to North Carolina to go shoot this show. So I did that. Lover's Lane. Sweet Mahogany was shot in Charlotte. And then Karlton was shot in Greensboro. Because Lover's Lane was shot. At first, it was shot in Winston, and then we moved it to Raleigh. We was shooting in Raleigh and Durham, and then what else was shot in North Carolina? I think Bondage was shot. We shot it in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and then we shot the last season in Charlotte. And so yeah, we was going back and forth. And then and you mentioned the magazine at the same time. I was doing the magazine too. Oh, Sweet Mahogany. Was doing that as well. And then we was shooting, doing the magazine, bringing in people was leaving Augusta, different areas, and going to Charlotte to shoot, do that. So it was a lot. I think it was just about my dad. I watched my dad. My dad is one of the best. He's an administrator, and I watched him, how he had everything in order and how he was so organized and different things like that. So I watched him growing up doing things. So I just pretty much emulated that. And I just wanted, because one thing my dad instilled in me was your foundation has to be set. And so I had to make sure that I had everything together before I brought in all these different moving parts. Because if I start falling apart, then everything else crumbles. So I had to make sure that I had everything. I had scheduling, make sure everything was coordinated, make sure people knew where they needed to be, how they needed to be, all this other stuff. So I just wanted them. But honestly, I got all that from my dad. And so yeah, that was again, looking back on it, driving to Raleigh or Charlotte or Greensboro or wherever, almost every weekend for the most part, and also still doing shows here in Augusta too. I was still like at one point, I think I was producing. I think I wrote this post recently. I can't remember. I think at one point I was producing 6 shows at one point at a time, like at that time. It's because again, I loved creating. I love creating. I love, like, when it comes to creating shows, like that's the dream. Like that's something I could do literally like for free, because like I just love like being creative. That's just something I just love to do. I mean, and honestly, to that, we were doing it for free.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, like I said, I think it was the love of being creative is what drove me to do all that stuff. Is because again I had the opportunity to just create, and I'm grateful that I was able to be a starting point for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, so
How with when you take into account criticism sometimes, or lack thereof, or whatever. How were you able to get better as time went on as a writer, from let's say 2010 to 2012 to 2014 to 2016 up until like what were you doing? What advice were you taking? What type of criticism stuck out to you that kind of pushed you to get better at writing?
Right. Just to kind of jump a little bit. I've never said I was like the best in production. Like I said, production is not my strong suit as far as like camera work and lighting and different things like that. So there were different people, like Michael Bowie, different people that I would like see, and they were like, hey, you can kind of make this look better this way, whatever. Because again, mind you, I'm doing all this stuff on my own. So there would be times where people like Bowie, my guy Quincy Kelly, like there were people would come in and kind of just, all right, that really had an eye for that stuff. Like, hey, you should position the light this way, but do the camera this way, like add some movement here and there, So I've always been open to people helping me get better. It's all about how you do it though. You know what I'm saying? Like if you coming in with this haughty attitude, like, yeah, like I know everything and you need to listen to me, I'm not gonna be receptive to that. Like it's like if you come in with like, okay, let me help you get better. Yeah, cool, because we all want to get better. So I just think it's not how you present your help. I think that's what the thing is. But to your question about the writing, honestly, I'm a student of television. People that I don't know, like, 'cause I watch a lot of TV. Like One Tree Hill is one of my favorite shows. I watch a lot of soap. I watch Young and the Restless. Watch like The Wire. I watch a variety of different shows, array of different shows, and just kind of just studying the writing in those shows and kind of just, all right, how do they? It's all about, like, me and you talk about this a lot when we was doing our podcast about character development. That's a very important thing. So how can I make this character naturally and organically develop as we're building this series and building these different situations and different things like that? So it's just studying pretty much as I'm watching as a viewer, but I'm also studying as a student, and making sure, like, okay, and kind of emulating that and putting that into how I create my stories and things like that.
It's on a tangent because you mentioned it. You mentioned The Wire. In your opinion, I don't think I ever asked you this question. We talked about it before ever. When you watch The Wire, right? Just give me one. What character's development stands out to you the most?
Tristan Wilde's character.
Interesting. Okay.
I like how he went from we saw him in school that season 4, and just saw how he was taking care of his brother, and he was protecting him from their I guess stepfather or his brother's dad or something. How he was molesting him or whatever he was doing, and just to see Tristan Wilde's character's progression, how he got involved with Marlo, and how he just pretty much even stepped away from them, and he pretty much became the new Omar. Just that progression. So yeah, that's the one that really stands out the most. Like when you asked me that, I was like, who was it? And then he was the first person that really came to my head.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Now I want to answer, but I would say I look at Avon, because he never progressed. Like, he was the same in season 1 all the way to the end. And it just goes to show you, like, no matter what, like, some people never grow up. They never change. He was still fighting over blocks. And you're like, you 40, bro. Like, it's not even that kind of game anymore. I thought that was interesting to see, like, inside the jail, outside the jail, he was not going to change. Like, he was who he was. And you got people like that. They just hard headed. Like, I'm just gonna be this way regardless. I'm gonna die this way. And oh well. So, and did you see Sinners yet? No,
I haven't seen it yet. Well, I haven't seen it.
You gonna see it though? You're not gonna see it.
That's on the fence.
Oh my God. Well, wait, is it because of church?
No.
Okay.
Nothing to do with church.
What you got nothing to do with?
I know it's funny. I knew you was gonna ask me this question, and I had this whole conversation at work. So I have a thing about horror. And I know people are like, it's not really a horror film, but when you look up the definition for the genre, it says horror. So I have a thing about horror. I have a thing about vampires. I know people are gonna be like, but you watch True Blood. True Blood to me wasn't scary. True Blood to me was hilarious to me. I don't know why it was. I just didn't see True Blood. I didn't take True Blood seriously. So the way certain horror movies happen, or the way they do things, it scares me sometimes. And I have a very vivid imagination. And from what I saw in the trailer, I was like, this movie's gonna keep me up for 5 days. I'm about to see with the lights on.
Yeah.
So I heard it was phenomenal, and I was telling my coworker, I was saying, now if the movie was struggling, I would go see it just so I could support. But it's making like it's like in the millions, and I feel like me not seeing it is not gonna make a big difference. But I'm not saying don't go support it, and it has nothing to do with like whatever outside noises. This is me personally. I just know I have a very, very vivid imagination when it comes to horror thriller movies. It's a certain thing the way my brain works. I cannot explain it. I was trying to explain it to my friend Brandon. He's my work cousin, but I tried to explain it to my cousin Brandon. I just can't. It's just certain things I can tolerate. There's certain things I can handle, and there's certain things I can't. And I'm still wrestling with going to see that because I want to see it because I want to support. I like Ryan. Of course I like Michael B. Jordan. Like I want to support the film, but I feel like I'm going to be watching the movie with my eyes covered the whole time.
Yeah, you will. You will.
So I was just like,
it's a good movie though.
I don't know if I want to put myself through that trauma, but I mean, go watch it. If you can handle it, go watch it. Like I'm standing in support of the movie. Go support the movie. But I just know for me and my personal, I just don't know if I can handle all that. You know what I'm saying? So
I know we spoiled in the past, and like I think one thing I can say about myself through knowing you, I'm big on experience. I'm big on like the relationship you have with certain people, because I think if I didn't have that relationship with you, I would never look at it this way. But I purposely try to stay away from comparing people to people. Right? So I'm going with this anyway. I purposely stay away from that but also watching you and seeing how people always compare you to this person, that person, and I'm like, well, why can't he just be who he is? I feel like that puts a person in a box. Me personally, put him in a box and sometimes to their detriment, because if, as I say, you remind me of Joe Blow, whatever, and Joe Blow is this big figure or whatever. It's like, am I saying you just a small version of him now? So like, am I just like putting off what you're doing to the side?
Right.
It's so many ways you could take that. It could be a compliment, but it also could be like a negative thing. So I wanted to ask, like, I know in your coming up, you got compared a lot to Tyler Perry.
A lot. Way
too many times, in my opinion. Not a bad thing. I just feel like you did your own thing. I feel like you could have just been Karlton Clay.
Yeah.
How did you view that when you first heard it? When you started hearing it too much, and then towards like the end of your what was your transition on hearing that term all the time?
So when I first started getting into Tyler Perry, was a lot of us through his plays. So the very first play that I watched was Medea's Class Reunion. That's the very first Tyler Perry play I ever watched, and I was like, this man is amazing. And I was watching like all this different stuff or whatever, and then when I was starting, I remember the first person said, I think we did the Lord's Prayer. I think that was the very first time I heard that statement. Oh, you the next Tyler Perry. And I took that as a huge compliment because, again, Tyler Perry, again, he was skyrocketing. And I was like, okay, yes, I'm glad people
going in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm going in the right direction. People seeing what I'm doing and they see me going in the right direction. And then you just keep hearing it. So now the pressure is, as you start feeling the pressure of, okay, because again, the better Tyler Perry does,
More pressure on you now.
And the more pressure's on me now
He good.
reach that.
Yeah.
And I started feeling like, because at one point it was like, I'm here and like Tyler Perry's here, right? So Tyler Perry is moving more and I'm slow. It's like I'm slowly moving, but he's like skyrocketing.
But the whole time you're not competing with him.
But I'm not, like I said, I'm not personally competing with him, but at the same time, when people are constantly saying,
in your head now.
You're the next, it's like, okay, I gotta move because he's moving.
Yeah.
But I'm just here.
Do you feel like the phrase put pressure on you?
It did.
Or you feel like you put pressure on you from hearing the phrase?
Both. I feel like hearing it all the time put pressure on me, and I put pressure on myself because I kept hearing it. And I was like, again, seeing him do wonderful, great things. He's doing amazing, phenomenal things. And people telling me that you're the next him. And the way he's, and the pace that he's moving, I'm not moving at that pace.
But you waiting for your shot now.
You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like this enormous shadow, and this is all in my head. I'm not saying nobody's doing this, but this is just me in my head. It's like this enormous shadow over me because a lot of people keep comparing me to this wonderful, great man.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? So it got to a point where it was a lot of pressure trying to get to where he's gone or what he's doing. And then it just started getting annoying.
Aggravating.
And this is why, because you would hear people talk bad about what he does, about his work. You'd be like, you hear people say like, no, people be trashing it. And people say his stuff is garbage.
Right.
But you're telling, out your mouth, you're saying, oh, that's trash. Oh, but you the next Tyler Perry.
Right.
So you're saying my stuff is trash. Is that what you're equating to?
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to figure out what the correlation is. If you're saying that I don't personally think what he's doing is trash. But I'm saying if you're saying at your mouth,
but you'll see that on a post, and you see that same person like a week later saying you
right. That's
Perry.
What I'm saying. You see on the post, oh, that is trash. But you keep again not saying that you have to like every single thing, but if you're constantly saying his work is not good, but then at your same mouth, at your same thing, oh, but you the next. So then what you saying?
I want to say two things in regards to it. The first thing I want to say is I said this in my last thinking aloud. I think people just talk too much sometimes, and they don't realize it because everything has to coincide with other things you're saying.
Right.
So on Monday of April, whatever, you can't say Tyler Perry is trash, and then the next week, as a compliment, tell somebody they're next Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
It don't work that way. That's the first thing. The second thing, I just always felt this way. And I think you were the first person I was able to see this with as it relates to this saying is comparison is the thief of joy. Because them comparing you took a lot of joy from stuff you could have been doing, or how you could have viewed your art, how you could have viewed your progress. You're viewing your progress now on somebody else's progress who, before you even started, was like already moving anyway. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's not fair.
Or when I would hear this, oh, your stuff is better than what he's doing, and I'm like, don't say that because. Don't say it because I'm not saying this would be naive of me to think that the Tyler Perry is listening to anything that I'm sure he's never heard of me.
Never know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just saying. But it's for me, it's naive of me to think that this man has ever heard of me. But I just don't want people. I tell people all the time, I don't want y'all to have this man hating me. Y'all keep saying that. And let's say it do get back to him or whatever. Well, you know what they're saying about da-da-da-da. And this man disliked me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't want that. So I'm like, don't say that, y'all. Please don't say that. But yeah, I mean, just the comparison, it did, it started weighing on me at some point. Because again, for me, I started comparing myself to what he's doing. And he, like I said, but in retrospect, like this man has all these resources. And I'm doing good with what I got.
That's why I say thief of joy, because you couldn't even be, not saying you wasn't, because I'm pretty sure more times than not you were joyous, but I'm thinking about joyous in the sense of, yes, you are the writer. You scheduling things. You're traveling. You setting up GoFundMes and all this stuff to get the travel money to get budget for the film. It's your camera. It's one camera. It's one Karlton. You got to act sometimes. You got to fill in. You got to do this. Like it's all on you. Whereas Yeah, you could use TP or anybody else. Even some of the Tubi directors, they got teams. They got writers. You know how much of a better quote unquote director you could be if you didn't write, and all you had to do was just make sure you film the right angle. Can't do that. You got to write it, envision it. Then when you get there, you got to film it. Then you got to adjust. You know what? It's not working. I thought I got to try this on the fly. All the stuff you're doing on your own, it's not the same. So even trying to gauge that is kind of unfair to an extent, because you talk about somebody who got a team, not only a team, but a team he's paying. At one point, you were doing this, and it was like, hey, look, who can work for free? Which is also another combo in itself. You know, so
yeah.
I always felt like it wasn't really fair in the first place to do that. But I do understand it in the sense of the content where it comes from, as far as the religious, and we're going to mix, not religious, but, you know, some church background mixed with real life, and we're going to mush it together. I get that, but that's everybody if you grew up a certain way. So I understood it. I didn't like it, but I think you were the first person to make me realize, like, you know what? Don't compare nobody. So I had a rapper on the other day, a girl rapper or whatever. And somebody told me to ask her why she sound like Gorilla. So I brought it up, but not in that way. I brought it up in the sense like, hey, look, I don't like comparing, because you put people in a box.
Yeah.
Then this girl who got a good song could feel like, damn, I got to do what Glow doing. Like now you chasing somebody who not even worried about you. They're just successful in their career. But everybody is saying you're this person, which only makes people go look at that person. You know, it's like, it's a compliment, but it's not like, it's not moving me at all.
No.
Or the needle on my career at all.
Yeah, it got, like I said, it got to a point where like people kept saying it, and it was like not making me feel good.
Yeah.
But like again, I know you meant it as a compliment, but I'm not receiving it as one, because again, it's you. Not only are you adding pressure to it, but like I said, again, I just feel like, I don't know if you're being shady or not. One, but two, if you are being genuine about what you're saying, again, it's like it's applying that additional pressure to it. Again, and then it's like somebody that's don't even know who I am, not worried about me, but in my head, it's just like I'm trying to chase after and go the way that he's doing it, because that constant comparison.
Just curious. I asked a lot of artists this question that sings mainly. Even rappers though, like a rapper might not make it, but they can rap. It might not fit them, but I'm like, why don't you write somebody else? Or a singer might not make it. I'm like, well, why don't you just be a backup singer? You know, whatever. It's ways to, as long as you got a voice, it's ways to make money, right?
Yeah.
So I asked, I think as a writer, like, what, if you ever have, let me know, I don't know, but like, have you ever tried or pitched writing for somebody, whether it be a Tyler Perry, whether it be a Spike Lee, whether it be I don't know, any of these big time directors that look for writers. Have you ever tried to do that? You always thought, like, I'm gonna do my own thing.
I think, have I consistently pursued that avenue? No, I haven't. I've never really like because I honestly don't know how. And I was just having this conversation with my friend Chantel. I was saying my whole career has always been figure it out. Always been my career. It's been, you want to do something, you got to figure it out. So it's just been pretty much me just doing my own thing and just creating what I've been doing, just creating my own content and just kind of putting it out on my own and doing it that way. As I've gotten older and I've just seen how this machine known as the entertainment business works, the mainstream entertainment business works, I got to the point where I just don't know if I want to be a part of it. Because you always have this fat cat at the top that knows nothing about being a creative, basically telling you what to do and making all those decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool. Yeah, it's great. Okay, of course you get the money, you have a bigger platform or whatever, but you're still under somebody's control. The beautiful thing about what Tyler Perry is doing is, like I said, again, he has the ownership, So that's what he's doing. But for the most part, a lot of them don't have the ownership. So it's like trying to, just trying to be another number into that corporate wheelhouse. I don't know if I want to be a part of that. So just to answer your question, if the opportunity ever arose for me to like have the opportunity to write for somebody, I mean, I'm not gonna say like, nah, I ain't gonna take that, because I mean that's always been a dream to write for television. That's always been a dream of mine. But I definitely would have to think about, okay, what am I giving up to do that? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think that's where I'm at with that.
I think that like, and I wanted to really touch on that just because I know it's inspiring. Depending on how you look at it, of course, but like
Right.
you worked all this time doing VPN, and you didn't start getting like your, of course, deals until the very ending of of when you started the film, whatever. But I also feel like, or I want to know rather, what's the feeling like? I hear a lot of times where they say like, when you're doing it for the love, it feels so much better than when you start doing it and you're making money. Sometimes it feels like a job. Sometimes
Yes.
it feels stressful, and you feel like it's more of a strain on your creativity because now you're told, hey, look, we're giving you X amount of dollars, but you've been wanting to make money for your films, but it's not what you thought it was, because it's not like you're not. It's not creatively yours. It's like, hey, I want you to change this and do this and do this and do that to get that money, whatever, right? As opposed to before, you could just put it out. This is what I want to do. It's an Easter movie, or it's gonna be a movie about 4th of July. Boom, it's out there. You happy? You getting feedback. Then you go into the business side of things, like, well, change that up, let's fix that. You going back, editing again, you finishing it, you think you're done. It's a lot going into that. What's that feeling like? Like doing it for just your own will, wanting to do it, free creative flowing, versus contractually, I owe this company this movie, and I have to make sure I deliver.
I think for me, I'll just have this conversation with my sister, with Kendra. I truly miss the days when we were just doing it for the love of the art, or the love of just wanting to be creative. I miss, like, there was no pretense. There was no pressure. There was like, we're just doing this because we love being creative, and we want to share our creativity with the world, or with whoever's coming to see the play or whatever. When I was doing theater and just doing the plays at the churches and traveling, doing the church stuff, it just felt better. And the people and the people felt more authentic, I think, too. And I'm not saying that people that I work with now aren't authentic, but there unfortunately, because I was so excited about what was happening with me in my career, and more people wanted to work with me, I unfortunately allowed some snakes in my garden. So that that played a part into a lot of relationships ending, professionally, and personally too. I mean, because I personally, when I was bringing people in, like, there was family. It was like, we are creating this Victory Productions family, and we are going to pretty much take over and create and do all this other stuff. And so like I took a lot of things personally, and like when people decided not to be a part of what I was doing anymore, or different things was happening, like that crushed me, because again, I saw everybody as family that I was working with. So but again, like I said, when people have their own motives and have their own things and own agendas, it can be hard, and it can be hard. It was hard on me because again, I'm just one person that's got all of this stuff on me. So so it was, like I said, it wasn't even necessarily like when I started working with Maverick or the other distributors. It wasn't even necessarily just the pressure from them. It was just more so, again, trying to weed out who's authentically there for you versus, I'm just trying to come up on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much, that's more so where my struggle lied. And this, when I was starting progressing, like, I just felt like a lot of people were just using me to get ahead. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of where I was at with it.
Just out of curiosity, I know you work with some people. I've seen you work with, Nelson and a few other people, just, far as like y'all combining and putting y'all work together and going from there. What would it take, whether it's now or I don't know if you retire, you're not retired, whatever. What would it take now or even in the past? What would it have taken? This is my idea. You let me know what holes in my idea. I'm not in y'all field, but you got videographers. You got people who write. You got people who just take pictures or whatever. What would have taken, you think, for people to come together and do one project, and why you think that can't happen or happen more often? Meaning, like, yeah, you do a lot. You do everything for VPN. But let's say what you specialize in, and if I'm wrong, let me know. But I would say writing is your strongest suit.
100%.
Okay, cool. What would it take for a team to get together and say, look, okay, I'm really good at directing. I want to just direct this. I want Karlton to write it. I want you to be this. I want you to pick the actors and actresses with Karlton so y'all can have them do it. Like this, whatever. Like, why you think that never happened? It ain't gotta be just Augusta. It could be just in general in that field. What would it take for different entities to work together and actually come up with something like that?
I think one of the biggest things is people's egos. I think also a lot of people, they want to be the face of whatever the thing is. So I think that kind of prohibits a lot of times some entities coming together to do things. Also, I just think some people just don't mesh. Sometimes you're trying to force things, and sometimes people just did not meant to work together. I feel like I can support you, but not necessarily join forces with you. Because again, our spirits don't necessarily mesh, or our what we're trying to do doesn't necessarily align. So I just feel like it's a lot of things that can come into a factor, that come into play, as far as trying to work together. But that is, again, I can only speak for my behalf. That doesn't necessarily mean I don't support you or what you do, or don't want to see you succeed. But I've just learned, for me, everybody's just not meant to work together. But I think the main thing, and like I said again, the main thing I said earlier is just an ego thing. It's a pride thing. Again, most people want to be the face of whatever is going on. So if I'm not the face of it, then I just that's people saying people start saying if I'm not the face of it, then I won't be a part of it. And I think that's what the main issue is as far as people coming together to work together.
Okay, I can see that. This is a quick question: you ever had the idea of just selling scripts?
I've been asked that several times. I don't have an issue with that. I think that would be great. I think that would entail me getting an agent, which is something that I think I want to do now. Because an agent because a lot of times these companies, they don't accept unsolicited scripts. So like I can't just put a script in the mail and send it. They're gonna send it right back. I've done that a few times, and I definitely have gotten those letters. Hey, we don't accept unsolicited materials. So I would need to get some type of agent to represent me on my behalf to go to these companies to get to if I was interested in selling scripts. I mean, there's something I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think that would be very lucrative on my behalf. What I would have to get past is once I sell it, it's no longer mine, and if they make changes to it, I'll have to be okay with that because it's not my. I sold it.
You gotta make the price right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. For me to sell a script, not only will the price have to be great, but I would see if we could work out some type of deal where I could still be included in some type of way. Not saying I can't like release it. Like if y'all want to make changes to it, cool. But I still want to make sure that at its core, it's still what it was intended to be.
I mean, maybe you could sell the script and be like, well, hey, if there's any alteration, I need approval.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
yeah.
I'll sell it to y'all. I do what y'all want to do.
And I want my name on it. Like I want to say written by Karlton Clay. Like I don't want to sell it and then
price just drop. You said that.
I mean, it is what it is.
But it depends on what kind of script it is too.
Honestly, but to real talk though, it would just depend on. It would depend on what it is. If it's something that's going like I know it's going to take off, I'll take that price drop. I want my name on it. But if it's just something like, oh, here, whatever.
I mean, I see both sides of that. I can see the other side saying like, once I buy it, that's it. You know what I'm saying? But then I guess I get your side too. Like, well, you bought me for a reason, so let make sure everything right on it.
I just know me. I know I would. I personally, that's why I struggle with selling scripts. Like I said, I know if I were to sell my script and watch it on TV and it says written by Bob, I'm gonna feel away. I'm like, Bob didn't write that. I wrote that. So I'm just saying, I know I'm gonna feel away about that. So I struggle with I struggle with like that part of it.
So I know filming, writing, producing is way different, in my opinion, than an aspiring artist, rapper, singer. But I've always had this thought: it's different for the filming side of things, just because of I think the longevity and the age range there. Rap and singing is more of a young man's game for the most part, young women's game. But I asked this question a lot to a lot of artists. I want to ask it to you, like, at what point, if any, during your career, and I keep saying career because you retired, in my opinion. Like, I mean, you retired. But in your career, I mean the go hard career, not the one now, like, you're going hard. You're still the hardest working man in Augusta, but it's more so for you're furthering your other career, your after your retirement career, right? But in the heart of being a filmmaker, a producer, a director, at what point in your career do you start looking like, I'm not making no money, I need to stop what I'm doing and pivot somewhere else? And I ask that because I think with artists, I always wonder, like, okay, do you do it to 36? I mean, damn, we had 2 Chainz do it, so I guess everybody use 2 Chainz now. I can keep rapping, I'm good. 2 Chainz did it. All right, everybody 2 Chainz. But then you got some people, like, they've been rapping since they 18. Or making music, whatever, 18. They 29, going on 30. They ain't really moved the needle at all. I be wondering, like, okay, at what point do we like, okay, look, I need to be more realistic and see if this is what I want to do, or is this a hobby now? It's not really my career. Did you ever have any kind of thoughts like that while you did filming and traveling and things of that nature?
1000%. When I was getting to the point of when I decided to step away from doing it, because, and it wasn't necessarily like making money for me, because when I started doing the beautiful thing about when I started doing films, and I love these moments because I was able to start giving stipends to people that have been rocking with. Like, I was able to give them some money. It wasn't a lot, but I was able to still get, it was better than zero.
Yeah.
I remember when I was writing checks, and I remember Sharmika got really excited because she said, "This is the first time I've ever been paid for my acting." I remember I gave Mitchell, he was in Pastor Thorne, he was in some stuff before that, but I gave him some money for some stuff. He was like, "This is my first time ever being paid for acting." I love hearing that. Like, a lot of times I was able to give a lot of these people their first time being paid for something they love to do. So that's honestly what I wanted the money for, was so I can actually give people who've been working with me for 10, 15 years, I can finally say, hey, here's something, it's not a lot, but here's a token of my appreciation for you rocking with me for this long. And I definitely appreciate it. But for me personally, I was getting to the point where I was tired of, because I mean, like, even though there was money coming in, I was still struggling, to be honest with you. After paying everybody off and take care of production costs, and you got to pay for rental spaces and all this other stuff. Like,
if you don't mind, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Ask, I know you hate using numbers, but it's over now. Not over like for you, but like it's past in the past. Could you break down? You ain't got to which film like that, but could you break down like the deal, maybe amount, and like having a divvy style amount? I'm only asking that because we hear you talking about it, but I think a good visual will make more sense as far as like, cause I might think you were getting 20 bands and you like, I just give this person 50. It's different levels for certain films.
So I won't say the amounts, but I will just say that, okay, so you're giving an amount for the script, and then you're giving the production amount.
Okay, I know that. It's two different
So
things
you got, so because basically they give you a whole, so basically I was given a whole budget, and they break it down to 3 things. So you got the first breakdown is the script, boom. Second breakdown is you got the production. The production, again, you taking care of the actors. People got to have somewhere to stay. Again, and also you got to have places to film, food. Sometimes people need gas money. It's just different things that's coming into play. Just breaking all that down.
All this is in one check.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't get one, but I said I would get 3 different payments.
I'm trying to paint a picture. So it's one amount you're getting. I'm just gonna throw a fake number out. You get $10,000, whatever. Let's say they're saying $3,000 is just for writing the script, and then let's say I guess 4 for I don't know whatever, and 3 for something else. You getting those in stipends for the most part.
Right.
Okay. I'm following.
And so and then also too after that, so then you got to put the film together, and then once you turn in the film, then you get the last part. And even in that, I would take what I was getting from that and giving people, because I would break up their payments. I said, okay, we're gonna get the first payment, when we shoot it. The second payment would come after I turn in the film, and then I would send off, the second half. So,
did you know this before you because you started getting deals? Did you already know how the deals worked before they called you and gave you the first deal?
Absolutely. Okay. Again, the independent game, I don't know what everybody else's deals work, but I just know for me, it wasn't like I was getting $1 million to shoot these films. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I'm just getting these. I'm grateful because this is before I was getting money. Like I was doing all these web series. I was doing it for zero, or we was going like you said, GoFundMe accounts for this stuff. So I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to even do these films. So I'm able to give these people money to. Again, it's not a lot, but I'm able to at least give them something for their work. But I knew this coming in. It wasn't like I was bamboozled. Like, oh, you tricked me. No, I knew all this coming in. People honestly were warning me about signing because they was like, it's not gonna be a lot of money. I'm not doing it for that. Well, it's for the art for me. But again, I was grateful that I was at least getting something.
I was gonna say I know it's easier said than done. It's like think about it. You've been doing films and writing and producing since 2002, 2003. If it's 2020, you're talking about a whole kid is out of high school at this point now, right? And you starting to get these deals. It's so hard to somebody say, hey, don't sign that. Whoa. You ain't been here these last 16 years. Me trying to scrap to get these films off.
Right.
Is somebody going to give me something?
Right.
I don't care if it's $1,000. I want it.
Right.
Because that's $1,000 more than I had from last year.
And that's what my mindset was. Because again, when I first was starting out with working with the deals, there was like, they don't pay a lot of money. You need to. But I was like, that was noise to me. Because like you said, I was like, at least they're giving me something. And at least I can, and if I can do a lot with zero, I definitely can do a lot with what they're giving me. And but again, my main thing was just making sure I could finally say, I'm just going to just throw some people out. Hey, Chantel, thank you for rocking with me all this time. Here you go. Here's some money. Thank you, Shataria. Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, my sister. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you, Nelson. Like just again, it's not a lot, but it's something. And I was able, and I was so grateful that I was able to do it. You know what I'm saying? So don't get mad at me if I ain't say no names. I just felt like I should not have started saying names. So people get mad. He ain't say my name, but no. But seriously, I was so grateful that I was finally able to say, "Here you go, thank you."
But I think it's another theme we ain't talk about here is also just it's the idea of getting your foot in that door.
Right. That was another thing because, okay, I mean, we didn't necessarily have to go here, but this is also around the time my YouTube page got deleted.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it literally got deleted in March of 2020. Bondage, the third season was out. It was out on Vimeo. We was putting an episode out each week on YouTube, and the page got deleted. Don't necessarily go to the details of that. But all this was happening around that time. And so they're saying, okay, we're going to put your movies on Amazon Prime. I didn't know how to do that. Okay, we're going to put your movies on Tubi. Tubi just really was starting. It was really booming and stuff. Okay, great. Like this opportunity opened the door for people to see my content that people probably would never have seen it. And especially not since the YouTube page is going. Because we was doing numbers on the YouTube page.
That was direct to consumer at that point.
Yeah. So, of course, yes. Where else can I sign? Because we're gonna do it. Like like I said again, all that stuff, it was just noise to me. I wasn't, because I'm like, are you gonna give me the money?
But I think, like I said, the independent grind, and when we say independent, I'm not even talking about the independent grind as far as the definition.
Right.
I mean, Karlton Clay is solely doing it by itself.
Right.
So if I got somebody come and say, hey, I'm gonna invest this X amount of dollars into what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Because let's just say, for instance, somebody in the street say, yo, man, I like what you're doing, Carl. You know, I'm a big fan of yours. Here's $200 towards your thing. You're not gonna say, hey, man, I'm good.
No.
Thank you. $200. Thank you.
Right.
I'll do something with it. New camera, new lens, whatever.
And I'm putting your name in the credits. Appreciate you.
As a thank you. So you got a company talking about how many dollars they're talking about. What's not a lot to one person, it could be a whole lot to somebody else.
Right.
Especially if you've been doing it for $0 for a long time. I think
again, it goes into what is your why? What is your why for doing what you do? What is your motivation for doing what you do? My motivation has never been money. Do I need money? Absolutely 1,000%. Do I want money? Absolutely 1,000%. But it's never been my reasoning for why I do what I do. That's evident. Since 2003 to 2020, I was doing it for $0. Since 17 years, I was doing it for free.
Say filming.
Filming.
For $0.
For $0.
Thank you. I'm making a clip. I don't want anybody to think nothing
crazy.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. Appreciate you for protecting me.
I tried.
I was filming for $0 from 2003 to 2020. 17 years of filming for $0. So of course, but the reasoning for me doing it was because I love creating. So even if the deals were like non-existent, even after not 2025, I said, okay, that's enough. My love for creating is not going to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. I'm going to figure out how to still create. So my motivation has never been money. Now, and people ask me all this because people have asked me, well, how do you get this? Or ask me questions about the distribution and how you feel about X, Y, and Z, about this company, that company. I say to people, what's your motivation for doing it? If you are looking at money, then you need to figure something else out. Mm. But if you're just doing it because, A, you love you love creating content, or because you're trying to get your work out there on a broader scale, then this is where you need to go. Not saying all things can't be true. You can want money, love what you do, love creating content, and you want a broader scale. But it's like, what's the most important thing to you? Because I would hate for people to get involved into this space and you're disappointed because it's not what you think it is. You know what I'm saying? This isn't Warner Brothers Pictures. It's not Paramount. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I'm sorry. So, like, again, and that's even just versus you want to work in the independent space or work in the mainstream space. Some people don't want to work in independent space. That's fine. Their goal is to be in mainstream. That's fine, but don't come into the independent space thinking it's going to be mainstream because it's two different spaces. It's two different things. Now, is the independent trying to be mainstream? That's another conversation because you're starting to see a lot of these mainstream artists now creating their own films and doing those other things. So now it's starting the independent space. It's starting to become a little saturated. But again, that's another conversation.
At this point in your career, like, is there any like goals or dream goals you have, as far as like whether it be film for somebody, write for somebody, shooting a certain kind of scene, or acting? Like, you got anything that's like you just like got a goal, or you kind of checked everything off?
It's not necessarily I want to write for these people, but I just want to meet with them. I want to meet them. I mean, one, I would love to do an interview because that's just the space I'm in now. I'm in the interview space. But even if they if it wasn't, the interview was taken out, I want to meet Tyler Perry. I am so intrigued by his mind. I'm intrigued by just his process because he's done so much. He's done so much, and he did it his way. And I'm enamored by that. Issa Rae, she's another person. I would love to meet her. David E. Talbert, he's another person. Like those are people like if they said, hey, we want you to write for us, sure, 1,000%. I mean, we gotta of course look at things, make sure everything's going up and up as far as like, money and whatever. But taking all that to the side, my goal would be just to meet with them, I just wanna learn. Like, and not necessarily and it's not like I don't necessarily want to be like, hey, give me this opportunity. I don't want anything given to me. I want to earn it. If you give it to me, great. I'm not saying don't give it to me, but it's not like that's not my motivation for wanting to meet them.
Yeah.
I want to learn. I want to learn. I just want to study like their process. Acting wise, I always wanted to be in a soap opera. Like we got the new show out, Beyond the Gates, and they film in Atlanta. Like, I would love to do that. I think now I don't even want no main role. Like, I would like to if y'all need like a news reporter, or a news anchor, like I would do that. I think that would be cool. I think that'd be dope. I think that's pretty. I mean, for writing wise, I want to go. One of my goals, I want to do a book tour. I want to do a book tour around the United States. I think that'd be so dope. I've done book signings obviously here in Augusta, which I was extremely grateful for. I'm obviously going to continue to do those here at the home team. Support the arts here. But I would love to do a book tour across the country. I think that'd be dope. And a theater, a play. Like I want to travel with a play too across the country. I think that'd be dope too. So.
A play be dope. I think that'd be fire.
Yeah.
Run off if you know by heart, cool. Run off like how many movies you got in your belt, how many shows you got in your belt, like how much of these things. I think I'll be talking. I know people probably listening and saying it's a lot, but it's really a lot of films and movies and shows you got under your belt.
You want me to name them, or you want me to just say them?
You got a number? You know the number?
Yeah. So I have a total of 18 films.
And this is from
2020
to
2025. As of this month, because Sweet Mahogany 3 just came out. That's my 18th film. So 18 films.
18 films is crazy in 5 years.
Yep.
Better than you retired for 2 of them. Don't forget that. You retired in 2023, so. Allegedly.
We'll get to the alleged part in shortly. So I have 18 films total, and I have 16 shows. And I say 16 hesitantly, not as hesitant. I've done 15 shows. Those have done or ended. The Bondage was the last show that I did that in that first phase. The 16th show, which is an animation, is called Karlton's World, the animated series. That's my animated series that I got. So that's number 16. Let's go and say 16 shows. Yeah. So 18 films and 16 shows.
18 films, 16 shows.
Yeah.
One of the hardest working men in show business. That's not in show business no more. This is crazy.
And I feel like I'm technically still there.
We all knew that though, but yeah. I mean, I felt like you saying retired, like I'm not doing as much as I did before. I think certain people just can't fully retire. I think it's impossible.
I'm accepting that now. I think what made me like again. Now I was like 10 toes down on retirement. Like when I said it, when I wrote that post, and I said it at the 20th anniversary, I was retired. Like I was done. Even with the stuff coming out, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I want to do other things. I want to focus on me. I want to travel and all this other stuff. As I have had the break and even still have the opportunity to just still create in other lanes, I am now more receptive of the fact that I didn't really like fully retire. But again, I was definitely steadfast on not creating not doing any more films. That part,
I think the idea of not running yourself ragged and
That's
burning
what it
yourself
was.
out
Yeah.
was like the caveat for you.
Yeah.
But then what happens is you realize you come home and it's 7:00 and you got like, I got all this time to do nothing the rest of the night. It started to seem foreign. At first it's cool. Then you get bored, or then somebody call you, or I think as some people, they have it in them to just do certain things. Like if you were if you work and you like me, I manage the store. It's time. I ain't gotta stay to 7. I can leave at 4. I end up staying because it's in my DNA to do extra stuff, to just prepare and stuff. And I think when she was like filming, writing, being around that, it's just in your DNA to be around it. Even if you don't do it for you, you'd have been doing it for somebody else or helping somebody else out somewhere. Like you're gonna be around that regardless. And then you know, that's just how it goes.
Yeah. Like I said, I had to, but I explained to people, even when I said I was retired, I said I wasn't retiring from being a creative. I was just retiring from production, which I stood 10 toes down on. I did not do any production.
But you was fine with acting. You was fine with
I was
writing,
cool with acting. I was still writing. Even I was still doing a little producing still. Like I still had people that needed help with different things. I was still literally like producing and like I was helping with casting and different things like that. So it was just the aspect of me picking up a camera, getting locations, set up lights. I wasn't doing that. I was like, nah, we not. I'm good on that.
Just the idea that sounds tiring. Like having to pull up somewhere.
But you do it now with the podcasting, though. I mean, clearly we have a light, we have a camera.
Be tiring, yeah.
And you're right.
I've been doing this since 2016. I don't do 9 years. You got 20 under your belt, so I can't imagine. I was thinking the other day, I was like, for me it's a little different because of how things are set up with podcasting. Of course, it's a little different feel. I'm pretty sure because you do podcasting as well. But it's like it's certain things you get up for, so it's fine. Then there's certain things like, boy, you gotta do this today. It's like, did I really? But what I realized is that when I feel like that, sometimes I get surprised. So I feel like you gotta prepare the same for everybody because it be something I'm not getting up for, and I end up saying, "Yo, that was amazing." I enjoy it, so I try to get up for the. But I'm with you. I'll be like, I need a place where I could just go to, turn a light on, everything already set up. If I had a room where stuff was just set up, I could just hit the on button. I'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Having to adjust it, get the lighting, like you said, one person, audio, lighting, all that stuff. If I could just have a list of questions and take notes and write stuff down, it'd be amazing. I'd be ahead of the game. I mean, I'm ahead of the game still, but I'd be ahead of the game for real then. You know what I'm saying? So, talk a little about your retired life though.
Basically, when I made the decision to retire, I think at this time I was already back at Channel 6. I think I was already there because I went back to Channel 6 and I always get my years mixed up. Was it 2022? Was it 2022 or 2023? One of them. But anyway, I just decided to go back to Channel 6. And because again, I was getting money, but it wasn't after divvying it all out, it wasn't sufficient enough for me personally. As far as like, okay, I was like, all right, cool. I tried the entrepreneurship thing. I tried the freelancing thing. I need something more consistent. And so this job opened up. A digital producer job opened up at my at Channel 6. I used to work there before. I was like, I'm gonna take. And they were like, hey, yeah, if you want it, it's yours. Absolutely, I'm taking it. I'm on the social media anyway. Might as well get paid for it. So it was a blessing because, again, like you said, once it like when you as a creative, when something's in you, it's like you can't. No matter how much you try to run from it, you can't escape it. And so, but this is a different facet of being a creative. This was something like, okay, because I've always something I've always again wanted to do too as well. I always wanted to have my own talk show. That's something I've always wanted to do. And so, the opportunity came for me to start doing interviews on our digital platform, and those started doing well. And then we already had the Celebrating Black Excellence. We already had that segment. And so the salesperson that was in charge at the time, she asked me to bring my interviews under Celebrating Black Excellence. And then that platform started taking off. And so now I am pretty much the face and producing the whole entire segment of Celebrating Black Excellence, which includes, doing the monthly winners and stuff as well now. So that's been taking up a lot of my time now. That's what I've been doing. But I love it. I love that, especially here in Augusta, like we have this space to where we can promote our Black artists, our Black entrepreneurs, our Black community leaders, people that are just doing great things in this city and in this area. But at the same time, I've also had the opportunity to expand what Augusta looks like outside of this city, because I've had the opportunity to interview mainstream actors and actresses.
Yeah.
Like I just recently interviewed Richard Lawson.
I seen that.
That was one of the biggest interviews I've ever had. And he came to Augusta. Like, it wasn't on Zoom. I interviewed him in person. So that was a blessing.
Yeah,
so that was
a couple weeks ago, right? A couple weeks ago.
Yeah. That was I had to kind of slap myself, like not for real slap myself, but like really like tap in, like get it together. I had to tell myself to get it together, because I love Richard Lawson. He's one of my favorite actors, and like to actually have somebody of his caliber like next to me, and I'm actually like going to talk to him. I was like, this is like really happening. So I had to tell myself to tap in and get it together. But I love this space, but I'm still able to still be creative. And like I mentioned earlier, I have my book Titan Warriors out. I'm a big Power Rangers fan, and that book is kind of inspired by Power Rangers, but it's taking the armor of God, which is in the Bible, and giving these teens special abilities. So, but it's inspired by my love for Power Rangers, and I also have my comic book series out, Chosen. So I'm doing that as well. So like I said, this again, I said I retired, but I'm still I'm still definitely doing a lot. I feel like I'm busier now than I was then, but I have more control over it now. I understand the importance of balance. Like before I was like 100% grind. It's like grind it out.
Yeah.
Now it's like, all right, and I'm put a little bit, I'm do a little here, do a little here.
Yeah.
Take some time for me.
I think if I look at it in an illustration sense, it's like before you say you were retired, quote unquote, I think you were just 2 feet in. And now you're like 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
Meaning like, you pivoting. Like, so I'm going to pivot here sometime, I'm going to come here sometime. But it's more of a pace than anything. Not like I'm just completely not doing it, but I'm going to pace myself with what I'm doing to make sure that I don't burn myself out.
Right.
So sometimes you got to use that word to step away. Sometimes if you don't use that word, people will still bother you and hound you for everything. So
I think that was the main thing. And that was another reason too, like just with the announcement of retirement, quote unquote, because I needed time for me. But even then, people still didn't really respect it.
At all.
People weren't respecting it. When your next movie coming out? When your next coming out? When can you write something for me? Can you produce this for me? I'm just like, and I kept trying to explain to people, I need this time for me to figure out, hey, what is my next? Because again, I'm approaching 40. I know people are like, oh, you still young. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. but realistic wise, what do I want the next? Because again, I devoted 20 years to Victory Productions. Mm-hmm. What do I want the next 20 years of my life to look like? And so that's why I was like, okay, let's take a step back and let's figure this thing out. And there's other things that I wanted to do. So I was like, let's work on that stuff, and you can still feed your creative soul, but at the same time, you can still take care of yourself and do the things that you need to do for yourself.
I got a few more questions. It's on a tangent though, but
yeah,
one of them is I meant to ask you earlier. I want to cut you off. What did you think about the Will Smith freestyle he just put out?
The Will Smith freestyle?
He was rapping on. So you didn't see the video of him rapping?
I didn't. I mean, I listened to the album, but I didn't.
What you doing with the album?
I thought the album. I think I told y'all. Stop.
Out of 10. Out of 10.
Out of 10. I gave you my grade.
I don't remember it. I don't remember it. I
gave you my grade already. No. Out of 10. Why do y'all like to do numbers? I like to do grades.
Nah, you like doing numbers, but not when it's Will Smith. You like doing numbers though. We done did it 1,000 times. 7, 6.
No.
Go ahead.
I give Will Smith's latest album a 7.
Okay, go ahead.
I gave him a 7.
What's that?
I thought it was straight. It was straight. Is it something that I would like bump? No. Like all the time? No. Does that make me a less? I know how to be objective when it comes to people that I like. So yeah, I still love Will Smith, but like I said, the project was straight, but it's not on my rotation. Like as far as like, oh, let me pull up this new joint.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that would be kind of insane. But then again, it could have been fire. You never know. I'm not saying he's talented. So it's not like he ain't no bum. You know. But
no, that doesn't take away from his talent. But it's not my favorite piece of work.
Yeah.
So, but no, I didn't listen to it. I don't know about the freestyle. I don't know about that.
He rapped on something, and I didn't listen to it. I seen a lot of people sharing and saying stuff. But
was it recent?
Very recent, like 2 weeks ago. Like,
I missed it.
I guess to promote the album, people go on radio station, they start rapping and stuff. The beat on, it was something like that.
Yeah, I missed that.
I seen one person retweet and said, "All right, who gonna tell him?" But I wasn't sure because people joke so much because it's Will Smith that.
Right.
Then I also seen somebody saying like, "Oh, this is fire." So I don't know.
Got you. Yeah, again, I personally like Will Smith as a rapper. I think Will Smith is a great rapper, but again, this particular body of work wasn't necessarily like my favorite. So that's why I say it's a 7. Like it was, it was straight. There are a couple of songs on there. I was like, okay, I'll put it on. I'll put it on. But listen to I like listen to albums straight through. It's not a straight through album for me.
Got you. Okay. What was next for Karlton Clay? What's next for you?
What's next for me? Okay. I always said that I would come to you first about things that I have new. So here we go.
Write this down.
So I have a new talk show coming out. It's called The Culture. I'm not sure exactly when this is airing, but I have a new show coming out called The Culture. It's gonna be produced for WJBF. It's gonna be a part of our app, the WJBF 6 Plus app. So I need y'all to definitely, when it comes out, please download the app. I ain't gonna lie to you. One of my main goals for this show is to get it on TV, to get it syndicated. That's my main goal. Not just syndicated in Augusta, but syndicated across the country.
And what's the name of the show? What's it gonna be about?
The Culture the name of the show is called The Culture. It's KULTURE. And so pretty much the show is discussing topics that are impacting our community, the black community, the black space, the black experience. And also again, it's kind of like in the same vein of Celebrating Black Excellence, but just on an expanded level. And we're still promoting black artists, black businesses, entrepreneurs, community leaders, different things like that. But again, it's just on a broader scale.
Okay. Well, I asked that for the audience. I already know because I was there. But yeah, I like that. I like that you do like pilots and stuff. I like that you always try different stuff. Cause I feel like sometimes they work and sometimes it don't.
Right.
But it's the experience you get from there or a connection you make from there. But you're just always doing something. Like I said, this is retirement, Karlton, still doing shows and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I think you're just trying to find that niche because it's clear that you want to be in the space of creativity regardless. Yeah. It's just about what you want to do and what you're willing to put your body and mind through again. Because 20 years of rigorous filming and writing and rewriting and then writing this and then this actor and actresses and it's a lot. They come into play with all this. It's not just writing and filming. It's like dealing with different personalities, falling out, having to find new people, having to find a person, like people not making it. It's a lot of stuff that go on in business.
Yeah. Also for me, just personally and professionally wise, is just really focusing on my core people and focusing on my circle. So if I ever were to do projects or production again, I'm focusing on that and really just making sure I use better discernment. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So back, I don't go too deep. So I got The Culture. I'm working on issue 4 of Chosen now. That's getting drawn up. Shout out to Cameron Wilson, my illustrator. We have season 2 of Karlton's World, the animated series. That's being drawn up as well. Shout out to my animator, Josh Abrams. Season 2 is gonna be hilarious. I'm so excited for y'all to see season 2. Y'all thought season 1 was funny. Season 2 is hilarious. We got 2 special guests. I had Kente Scott. He was on The Parkers and Smart Guy and a whole bunch of other shows in the 90s and 2000s. In the House. So he was a special guest on season 1. And I got 2 special guests on season 2. I'm gonna wait to reveal those. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, season 2 is gonna go off. And I have a new project that I have is gonna come out. The beautiful thing about this is I was able to just produce and direct and write. I did not have to do any production.
How'd that feel?
That was amazing. Shout out to my guy Destin Freeman. He did all the production work, the cameras and the lighting. And shout out to my guy Melvin Williams. He did the audio. So yeah, I'm excited about this project. It's 10 episodes, and yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait for y'all to see it. It's gonna be great. So yeah, that's pretty much it, I think, for me right now. But like my main thing is the celebrating Black excellence, and now the culture. That's gonna be my main priorities. Of course, I'm still I got the podcasting doing Karlton's World and all the other things that are under that umbrella. So yeah.
Speaking of under, what's with the do-rag? When you start rocking the do-rag?
The turban?
The turban. I said turban earlier. I wasn't sure. Okay. But you a vegan now?
No, stop telling people I'm a vegan. I'm not a vegan.
That's the vegan headgear. I don't know if you know that now, but
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I was not aware. No, the reason why I
give
wear
it to
the
you when
turban
you turn
is because
vegan.
so I have what you call George Jefferson hair. What that means is when my hair grows, it grows to the side. I don't have any hair on the top of my head. I just have it on the side.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not trying to look like a clown in these streets. I'm not trying to look like Ronald McDonald.
But you just get a baldy. You get a baldy?
Yeah, my hair is normally bald, but my hair grows fast. I have to wait till Monday to get my hair cut.
Oh, nah, they say get that thing, get the little razor thing, and just go back and forth.
So I've tried that. My head is extremely sensitive, and my head will bump up.
Okay.
So yeah, my barber knows exactly how to cut my hair to where it won't bump up.
Got you. I like it though. It's good texture.
You sound like my siblings. They be like, "Why are you putting that turban on?"
I don't know who was it for me first of all. I was like, is that a gangbang over there? But now it's just
I'm not a gangbanger. Yeah, I just started wearing it because again, when my hair grows fast,
yeah.
And I'll be wanting to be looking like it depends. Like for this, I want to look presentable. Now, if we were just hanging out, I would not have worn this.
Nah, that's still fire. I'm thinking about like even ending like it's so odd because like I couldn't say hey call and tell me where to find you whatever right. But it's like, you retired. I don't know. Should I be saying that?
What do you mean?
Like, when we end and we say, hey, tell them, follow your social media.
Yeah.
Like, you still do that? You still like, hey,
yeah, I mean, because I need
still podcast.
I need people to subscribe to my YouTube page because I still have stuff. I mean, I guess
say the YouTube page. Say what it is.
It's the official Karlton T. Clay. So go to youtube.com/ I don't know why YouTube does this now, but at Karlton T. Clay.
Okay.
That's so stupid. I hate it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It's dumb. But anyway, so youtube.com/ at Karlton T. Clay. I need y'all to subscribe to the page. Again, I have Karlton's World. We got VPN chat. Me and Maine do Take 5, which I still got to do the other episode. And what else? Me and Bird just started TV time. We talk about not old shows that are no longer on the air. Talk about that. And then I have my Ranger Ravers that I talk about Power Ranger stuff. I'm doing my Power Ranger skits that I'm doing.
Yeah. Content galore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still creating content.
He's retired. Yeah,
this is retired Karlton.
Yeah.
Now imagine me doing all this and still doing the films and and stuff.
I can.
It would have happened.
But I can imagine it because I ain't the one doing this. So I understand 100%.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But no, I'm still creating content, man. I was telling people with these last 2 years, still create content, but just in a different way. Just something that y'all not used to. And I just need people. Pretty V said this on an interview because she's promoting her book. And she was doing this interview on the Breakfast Stuff. She said, support me. I'm paraphrasing, but she basically said, support me in this space. She was basically saying how people are so used to her being so silly on Instagram and TikTok and stuff, and now she's focusing on being an author.
Who is this?
She's like a comedian.
She got a boyfriend?
I don't know about her personal life, but she's been on Wild 'N Out. She's real good friends with B Simone and stuff like that. But she basically just talking about just how people, even in this space of her wanting to do her book and her being an author, people are still asking her about the videos and the funny skits. And she was just saying, support me. If you're a true supporter of mine, support me in this space. And that's how I kind of related to that, as far as like, yeah, y'all used to the films and, the web series, different things like that. But I'm in this space and I need my supporters to support me in this space that I'm in now. Not saying that I'm like not ever gonna do that stuff again, but this is the space that I'm in, and I need support here where I'm at. So yeah, definitely. Please subscribe to the YouTube page. Please definitely follow me on Facebook and on Instagram, on TikTok. Yeah, I still need all that. I need all that for sure. Because even in the midst of the new content, we're always still pushing. I'm still pushing Victory Productions. Like, it's not like Victory Productions died. You can still go to thevpntv.com and see our content. I have something in the works, and I learned this lesson. I don't want to reveal too much because, again, sometimes you could abort the dreams that you have or abort the thing that's happening. I've been working on something for like the last 3-4 years. And it's not my fault, the reason why it hasn't happened yet, but it's just, again, I don't know. Even though I do a lot, there are a lot of things I don't know how to do. And so with this, I need help in this space than what I'm doing. And so unfortunately, like, it's taking a little longer for this next thing that I want to, that I've been working on to come out. So that's the next phase for Victory Productions, is whenever this thing manifests itself, that's going to be the next phase for Victory Productions. But Victory Productions is not going anywhere. We still have the content. We still got the movies. Again, we will do a 22nd celebration. It's not going to be as big as the 20th, but we're going to do something. I didn't do nothing for the 21st. And by the time it passed, it was too late. I didn't realize it. I was like, dang, I didn't do nothing for 21st. So I got to do something for the 22nd.
Got to, bro.
Yeah, so definitely gonna do something for the 22nd year of Victory Productions, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the most part.
Well, I mean, for me, like I said, I'm always inspired by things you do. Just the hard work, and I think if it's like a person I feel like is an epitome of like dedication and hard work, is definitely you. You're always doing it, no matter what you're doing. News station, VPN. Stuff for somebody else, it don't matter. Your name has to be attached to it. You always take everything seriously. Every job you take seriously. The time, the etiquette in certain fields. I seen you, be one way when you're filming, then one way when you on TV, then one way when you're here. Like, just how you can actually go in these rooms and be how you're supposed to be. I think all that to me is honorable. It's definitely worth mentioning. So I always look at you I use you as an example for a lot of things when I'm talking about concrete. But the reason being, because like I said, if you look at you from a distance, you just see somebody who's like successful in a certain field, certain arena. Now success to me might be different than you. I don't look at it money, but I look at it like what you've gained. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the people I know a lot of them through you. People say, oh, I seen such and such. Or like, I don't know that person. I know him through Karlton. I talked to Karlton. So a lot of my connections came through you too. So I just feel like, you need people like that in a world where, you can kind of utilize the resources and still develop that bond with a person. So we still do content together. We still do stuff together. People still ask for Fire Ice. They still get to see us together here and there. So yeah, I think it's just dope. But just like I said, listen to you talk, whether it be an hour, 2 hours. It's always inspirational, but it's always like motivational and educational. So definitely appreciate you coming through. I would say telling you your Instagram, but you kind of did that your own. You so used to doing this. It's so easy. It's easy when you're doing somebody that. I ain't have to say talking to the microphone. I have to tell you nothing. You need to do every single step of the way. I gave you 0 instructions.
Yeah. I'll say it again though. YouTube.com/@KarltonTClay. Instagram and X is at Karlton T. Clay. Facebook is Karlton.Clay. And then TikTok is Karlton's World. So yeah, those are the places, the spaces that you can find me. But as always, we definitely are trying to build those subscribers on YouTube and the VPNTV.com. So we definitely want to continue to build our community. So definitely continue to do that. Just be on the lookout for all the great things that we have coming up. I will definitely keep y'all posted on the culture. I definitely need some big support on that. It's important, especially in the times that we're living in, and the state of our country, that we continue to support our black spaces.
Yeah,
because they're trying to erase us. I know people, I don't know if people all realize that or not, but they're trying to erase our history and they're trying to erase us from the future. So it's important that we definitely continue on and promoting and pushing what we're doing in our black spaces. So definitely, when the culture comes out, I would definitely keep y'all posted, and I really need y'all support on that, because again, I want to make sure that this show explodes and does the great things that I know it's gonna do. So
definitely, man. Look, appreciate you for coming through, talking to me, doing the podcast, man. It was whole hard to find to catch you. I'm busy, you busy, so catching you on a Saturday was actually kind of crazy. And I ain't think of all day to be a Saturday.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be like a random Wednesday or Thursday, but Saturday is cool too, man. I appreciate you coming through, man. Definitely wish you nothing but success in your future endeavors. See you on the news every other day, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to you. You're doing big things. And, shout out to you and your turban, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to get some different colors.
There you go. Get a red one, man. For real. Get a red one. It pops. The red one pops. Definitely, man. All right, man. Mic check. One Masters Podcast. We out, man. We out. Yeah, that was good.